Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for being patient with us. Finally, we do have everybody connecting in to the server, so we won't keep you for much longer whatsoever. We are ready now, guys, to get on over into Bind.
It's taken almost 40 minutes, but we're here. That's the main thing, Dion. We're here on Bind for the first map of the day. And unfortunately, Demon not managing to connect in time, as over Power Strike will be starting with that one map advantage heading into Bind, which is actually their map pick.
Their map pick indeed. We did see, of course, this one be played out last night with Order and Kanga, where we did see Texas 1 versus 5. Going to be ever so strong in our minds, expecting in toward this one. But of course, with that forfeit over on map number 1 in Haven, if I'm remembering correctly the map as well, it does mean that over Palace they do have that one map advantage for all that might be wondering.
And it's good to have that, especially against a team like Demon, who are a bit confident coming into this one on Bind, but we are going to be seeing these teams face head-to-head very, very shortly. And at least at the moment, we are going to be getting into things. And just looking at both these teams at the moment, Dion, what stands out to you in regards to the character picks that are coming from these teams?
Well, one thing that stands out to me, I guess, first and foremost, is going to be that Phoenix on Reloaded. It's always an interesting hot topic with me personally when it comes to Phoenixes. I tend to like them a little bit better on Haven, and I guess that really tends in towards most of the games that do get played these days. But also, on that flip side there, Joe, Gaza bringing out the Breach. I really do like that.
Yeah, I do respect it. We did see it come out yesterday as well from Dick Stacey, so Breach is still ever so viable on this map, and well, we're going to be getting straight into things, as it is going to be Demons kicking us up on the attacking side, looking to try and work their way out onto the A side.
Straight on through. Ferg in a showers, looking for the ultimate orb. Is only going to see that Phoenix that I mentioned earlier in Reloaded, and it's going to take his head off as well. The hot hands to get a little bit of extra HP as Demon managed to get the plant on and down. Now we're going to also try and get in towards showers, overwhelm the forces of over Power Strike here. They find us. Rona, they know that Reloaded is here, and he already took the duel earlier, and he's winning the duels right now. Even spraying in the midst of the fight. Manages to steal away before. It's only on to Swell now. The defuse is being stuck. Can the paint shells get them off it? It looks like it has. Swell looking for the clutch here. He'll need a 4K just like the Phoenix of Reloaded. In towards the Sky Smoke, trying to pull him out, but the knife gets pulled out. And Chronix is going to find the kill and secure the defuse.
Absolutely massive round coming through from Reloaded. 4 kills, almost gets the ace as well, but unfortunately gets picked up and Swell left to clutch it out. And I'm extremely surprised he managed to get those 3 kills on the board before failing to get that last player unfortunately running out of bullets.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it if he had bullets still in the frenzy or if it was completely down to 0, and that's why he's brought out the knife. Regardless, I guess the last frag is found by Chronix, and it does mean that they themselves get to purchase on through. But with that spike plant going down, Demon as well, I'm going to dive into their pockets and pick out a couple of stingers.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, these buys on both teams, Dion, they're looking kind of nice to say the least. The SMGs, mainly the Stingers on the side of Demon, are going to be ramming their way up towards the B side. And Wildflower, no! That's so unfortunate, but the Stingers, they're coming in clutch. That's a couple of kills going their way. And Compose, not going to be so lucky against Swell, and that is an easy take for the side of Demons.
And right now, Reloaded's run it back is all going to be used for information. Around the side, it will get destroyed as well, so he loses all the shields that were purchased up. He's down 100 HP. The retake is going to be coming through for over Power Strike here. Remember, this was the forced up round for Demon after dropping the pistol. So 4 alive, spike plant down, Aldrone tagging out Oz Rhino as well. Reloaded's going to be here to cover. And now both of those players' locations are known.
Careful now.
It's going to be a bit of a rough retake of both these guys, and especially with these Stingers close range, they can definitely get the damage done. And at least for these 2 remaining players on the side of Overpower Strike, it doesn't really seem like they've got much of an opportunity to get in as of yet, but this might be the opening for them. Gaza not going to be so lucky, and Oz Rhino just going to fall off the hands as well.
I think another unlucky status there to be mentioned, Joe, is the curveballs to come out from Reloaded on the Phoenix. Just missing those self-blinding doesn't really help your case. Also sticking through Gaz's fault line will disorient them, and just the cleanup from the rest of Demon as well to find those kills does mean that they pick up the second round here and force over Power Strike into a little bit of an eco. However, they are bringing up the Buckies. So this could be quite interesting. Get a little bit of that extra money. I would like to see a stack potentially come out from over Power Strike in a round such as this, but you look up that radar, it's more strung on towards the default.
Yeah, not the worst idea in the world, but even with like the Tony's there, you maybe just go for that shotgun, and that's what they've decided to do. And at least for Demon, playing a pretty standard setup, at least for now, to say the least. And Chronic should be the key person in this round. He's got that shotgun in hand, but what more can he do here as the players are going to start to work their way up?
So he needs to catch a left click on the backy very soon. He's on 1 HP. The spray comes through. Does manage to find the counterpart jet in Maple, but the rest of the Demon squad are going to start to bring themselves in towards the B site. Swirl to lead the charge, finding reloaded. And our drone will spot out old mate Brimstone in the smoke. That's going to be composed now, taken down. Once again, it's a 4 versus 2 status for a Power Strike in the deficit.
It's a very rough round from them, and you know, it is expected when you've only got the pistols and that one shotgun, which did get taken down early stages in the round. And Rhino at least manages to find a pick for himself, but not so lucky on the refrag. And honestly, that round, it's not really the worst if you're over Power Strike. They find 2 kills, but moving into this next round, Dion, that's where things are going to start to light up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's where the Vandals and maybe the Phantoms are going to be coming in to the matchup. Of course, Wildflower, Pex is going to bring out the Phantom. The rest of them getting the Vandals for right now. For Chronic's, Blade Storm is available, so just going to be on the back of those pistols and bring out those knives. Let's see if we can quickly get something done on to Demon, who for themselves, I mean, they're going to look to get quite aggressive in this round. You would expect they've still got some Spectres to be in the mix.
Yeah, no real surprises so far from either team, to say the least. And at least heading into round number 4, this is where things do decide to kick off with those extra guns in hand on both teams. And at least for Demon, they're playing just for a bit of an info player. The Owl Dart to go out, but Compose, that is a nice pick to kick things off. But it's just a bit of a mess out towards the site. Trades going left and right, and it's still an even playing field, at least for the side of other Power Strike. They've still got that advantage in hand.
Oh, that is perfect to come through. Gaza fault lines over to Reloaded, forcing him into the crosshairs of a Ferg on that little late lurk over in Showers. And as you hear the TP come through from the Demon spot, they are going over towards this B site. The Owl drone, however, does get a catch on towards Gaza, so it is going to slow their pace down over into the B site. Eventually, Ferg is going to find his footing over toward them, but with enough time on the clock, they technically still got to go back towards the A site right now. The Blade Storm is over at the B site in Chronic's hands and stuck in the tube. I mean, you can use those right clicks when you're there, but you know what they say about the right clicks.
Spike.
Makes things a little bit harder, especially when you're the solo anchor.
left.
But Wildflower has decided to rotate over to support his teammate, and it is the right time to do so because Chronix is going to be able to spot out the first player and using the smokes to try and block off his field of view for the time being. But Demons, they're going to start to work their way through. And Ferg, nice headshot to kick things off. Sign to follow it up as well. The orbital strike, not really going to be able to do anything, unfortunately, and that's just going to leave Rhino at a 1v3.
Yeah, the only thing that the orbital strike is used for there is to buy time to get the plant down safely and make sure that Rhino can't come out from the CT location on that late flank. Has managed to find one and bring it into a more workable situation, but with where the spike is planted and 2 angles to look after, one will be spotted out, but not the second. It's on to Gaza to keep hidden right now as Ferg has been seen. 7 bullets in the chamber for Rhino. A showstopper available, but does he gamble and use it over towards Long? He's going to get peppered down by Ferg's force anyways. And Demon are going to pick up the first purchase round of Overpower Strikes.
Yeah, big round from Ferg. They're finding himself 3 kills down. But another thing I thought I'd mention as well, the lack of Sentinels that we are actually seeing from both these teams this map. A bit of a surprise, if I have to be honest. We did see plenty of them come out yesterday, but it seems like these guys might have a bit of a different play style to what we have seen from the teams that played before.
Well, the teams that we've seen played before here, Joe, they managed to get, you know, the rounds that Overpower Strike have toward their counter right now. So hopefully it does align for them that they are able to find a bunch more. Still, it is the early days over on Bind. Demon purchase, of course, right now, taking it a little bit slower. Pex's Owl drone's going to be heard, going to be seen, going to tag up Swirl and force him back. So it is sort of the breathing room in this round, gifted over to, well, relatively both sides right now. No one being too over-ambitious to give away their lives freely.
I do like the default setup, at least that Demon has got. They've got pretty well most angles covered other than that main area, but even in that regard, does seem like a bit of utility is actually going to be used on the side of overpowered strikes. That's going to be utility wasted for the time being, which it seems like Demon does want to drag that out, which could definitely benefit them in the coming couple of seconds.
Well, the tick of the recon bolt isn't going to find anybody. At least it's the information that it was destroyed as well. He's going to throw a blast back in. Nothing's going to come on the back of it for right now. 30 seconds to go. Ferg has managed to sleuth his way in toward the A site, calling for the rotate over. Left. But is it too little too late? The rotate's starting to come through from over Power Strike as well. Ferg, though, an optimal position to be sitting under Hell. Where does he choose to go with this?
It's going to be a huge position from him, but Ferg, it's unlucky. Composed, just going to be able to pick him up there with 12 seconds left.
10 seconds left.
It's going to be difficult. There's a pick to come through from Wildflower. The plant trying to go down as well. It's an absolute mess on the side. They're not going to be able to get this plant down.
Thrifty.
That's one of the things, isn't it? When you rotate yourself way too late over, they were relying on Ferg to get the smokes down over towards Heaven, over towards CT, and whilst he did manage to get them down, the Heaven one missed as well because he was being caught by the stinger bullets of the counterpart Brimstone, and everything just crumbled there for Demon. One of those cases, you know, you can't be letting the clock go down too low, especially when there's ultimates. You know, the Hunter's Fury brought out there isn't so much as to find kills, it's just to deny the spike from being planted.
Yeah, and that's really what it just did, Dion, as well. And honestly, with Ferg's positioning that round, that definitely should have been in the favor of Demon, but timing is the key factor in the game, and it is rather unfortunate it did go down like that. But a new round is about to really kick off. It's still 2-3, so over Power Strike, trying to at least bring it back to a tied scoreline, but Demon are still looking to try and make their name.
Now the Aldron's going to go in, spot out some information, going to find Oz Rhino at the back of Triple, but here comes the Rolling Thunder. Counter in the Showstopper. A 1-to-1 trade out and an orbital strike now. Swell, so sharp fun ahead of Reloaded, just dancing around the site. Maple pushing in towards the defenders. Sidespawn as well is maybe going to catch out Wildflower in the exchange. Going to back away though.
So far, it is going to be a little bit harder for Overpower Strike to try and retake this. A 3v4 now down as they're trying to work their way through onto the site.
Ooh, another shot to come through though, this time in the favor of Overpower Strike. Maple's going to turn it back in towards the advantage. A great fadeaway on the click from the Classic. Now it's down to Chronix to try and see what he can do. These cloud bursts, 4.5 seconds. He can get the spike tick half, but Maple's going to deny that. And Demon now going to calculate themselves in for the 4th round.
Yeah, some nice consistency coming through from Demon. They may have won this round, but the previous was a loss, and they are looking a little bit more structured, to say the least, here on their attacking side. Like, they're doing the right thing and playing some different setups, trying to reach into those sites and just pick off every player that Overpower Strike does at least manage to at least address most of these situations. And this round alone, Dion, is going to be a little bit harder for them, especially with these guns. Like, there really isn't much to work with other than Reloaded's Vandal.
Yeah, one of the things that Overpower Strike might look to go towards is some aggression. You know, they've got 3 of these duelists that could take the fight over towards Demon, who technically only have 2, but of course they have the assistance of, you know, every other of their agents. And the experience factor, I guess, when you look at it as well. A couple of old guard names on the side of Demon. Technically, you've got the same over the side of Overpower Strike, but for this game, I know that they've been playing it for quite a while right now together, in an assortment of different rosters, so...
Oh, Chronix. That's a nice shotgun shot to be heading onto Swirl as well. That's going to be an open gun for him, but they have managed to slip their way out to the B side as well. So for Overpower Strike, it's going to be a retake situation for them, but Chronix is going to be a key factor with that shotgun still inside of Hookah.
And Reloaded with the rifle in hand. The run it back to find 2, absolutely dismantling Demon's chances at closing out this round. At least the Hunter's Fury is here. It can go on through. You dodge the first 2, get on another 30, and you can survive in on the defuse. Gazado is going to find Chronix getting ambitious in towards Garden. There's defuse. You can see the Composer's holding it, and he should be able to get it out. The body blocking is going to come through, and as Sign finds Reloaded, the 50 round is found by Overpower Strike, and they get signed after the timer. It's
a good round to win as well, Dion. Like, they didn't have the gun advantage, but they made it work, especially with Chronix up and Hookah, getting that starting pick and then continuously just allowing his teammates to slip through the cracks and just pick off the opposition one by one. And in a round like that, I would be a little bit disappointed if I'm on the side of Demon. They definitely should have won that one, but over Power Strike, they just played that to perfection.
Well, it's one of the things, isn't it? When you've got your lesser weaponry, you have to do something a little bit unexpected, a little bit risky. And that's exactly what Over Power Strike did. They just stuck the Bucky in through towards Hookah. It gets the opener, but reloaded. I mean, on the run it back, able to find those 2 kills really does assist things for Over Power Strike. And now, in the new round, they know that the operator is being brought out from Maple on a Demon. And they are getting pressured and forced back on the B site, starting to contain with all of their utility. They should be letting Demon in toward the site. Swirl brings out the showstopper, but he's only on 8 HP.
A lot of things going on at the moment towards this A side. Flashes, boom bots, everything in between. Everyone's getting picked off at the moment. It's down to a 3v3, but Wildflower has been able to shock dart Swirl, so that's going to be advantage flowing in the way of Over Power Strike on the retake. And for both these Demons players, are in good positions, but what more can they do in this round?
We'll have to wait and see. The blades are going to be better for Maple this time with the close quarters right click and orbital strike over towards the heavens as well, but they are unexpected of Oz Rhino's position. Maybe not, as Maple has the 6th sense to find it out. Now they know where the last player is coming from as well, and the blades are going to get the job done from Maple. Hex is down, and Demon find their 5th round on the board.
It is a big round to come through from them, Dion, and at least heading into almost the second half, at least. It's looking kind of promising, at least for the side of Demon. Like, their consistency is starting to show through, but over Power Strike, they're starting to find their footing a little bit here. They may be down by 2, but they're still managing to find these picks every single time on the retake, which, you know, if you keep doing it, it could potentially pay off, but the holds do need to come through a little bit earlier, I'd probably be saying as well, because they're just allowing this side to just get out as quick as they can.
Well, slowing things down in this round for now. Ferg's going to be peppered through the smoke just a little bit. Be happy about that one. And exchange in through bathrooms as well. Does tag up signed, but for what it's worth, Demon slowing things down does draw out all this utility from over Power Strike, and you can already see that they're tempting the rotation as well from that 3B site, bringing over the Sova. They're just kind of waiting for it to see what Demon's doing, and now that the fault line goes down paint shells, they're just going to hop into the site.
And Maple does manage to find that opening alongside Wildflower. He did find that trade back. And Oz Rhino very close to trying to find the kill, but opposed to trade back as well. And a 3v3 now for the side of over Power Strike. And Signed at least manages to pick up that frag. It's going to give them the advantage in this round. And Spike should go down here.
Yeah, it's going to be very tricky for over Power Strike to get back into this. Chronic needs to do something now with the operator. Maple's just dashing up to see some information. The shock dart now is going to miss as well. If Maple stayed there, it would have certainly taken him out of this round. Maybe been a little bit better for over Power Strike. They themselves as well have to get onto this spike soon, because again, the Hunter's Fury is just back at it for Demon. And whilst Maple misses a shot on the operator, very uncharacteristic, I might add. Going to go for the second attempt. Chronic will find it. Now they've got to try and get on the spike. But look where the Sova is. They're playing double in U-Hole, and they're just going to try and take the fight towards Chronic's. Not the best weapon on the operator. Classic sidearm gets pulled out, and Signed will find the closer.
Yeah, Maple's very lucky that his teammates are able to just recover that round after that miss. And at least in a scenario like that, where they have got 6 rounds on the board now, they may potentially start to get away with this half with a lead. And, you know, so far, like, Demon has done very well at breaking the economy of the side of over Power Strike. Like, we're seeing them, I think, with about 3 or 4 rounds now where they have been restrained to only SMGs, pistols, and this one shotgun that Chronix is just barely holding on to.
Do it again.
Well, we've seen a round like this be won from over Power Strike, so Reloaded at that point in time had the Vandal and the run it back available. We'll see what Chronix is going to be able to redo on the Bucky in this round, but is it going to be the crucial factor that gets them the round? We don't know. Wait and find out here. That's the name of the game. Minutes. Over a minute. Minute 20 still to play out with, of course. Lots of time in this round. Demon, again, slow and steady pace. Our drone is going to spot out Gaza, but over Power Strike aren't expected to go with that for much haste.
It's a nice slower push, actually, from the side of Demon, too. Like, they don't really like to just go guns blazing and just completely rush the site all the time. They like to slow things down a little bit more and play a bit more of a structured setup. And at least in this round, they have played the contact play, just waiting to see where these players will come from. And with the breach impact coming through to try and clear out the corners, Demon are trying their best to at least clear out these positions, Neon, but it's just not happening as of yet.
Ooh. That Hunter's Fury actually forces Chronix to make something happen, and it catches Swirl off guard. To retrieve a weapon as Pex gets put down. Teleporter's going to be heard and go over towards A. Composer's currently holding on from U-Hole, but he should be waiting for the spike to start to go down and then peek out. The submachine gun is the weapon to do just that at close quarters. Find some extra information onto where Ferg is, but the trade will come through. There is enough time to safely get the plant down now for Demon. It'll be 3 versus 3 in the retake.
There's a lot of damage that's been done to the Overpower Strike boys as well, and so he's going to potentially catch one off guard as Chronix is going to fall victim to him, so that's the advantage going to swing in the way of Demons once again on the post plan, and it's just time and time again, every single time Overpower Strike does go for these retakes, Theon, they just get shut down by these players every time.
Yeah, there was no real damage at all done by Overpower Strike on that retake. Just taking the duels almost one at a time. It's not really the way that you want to see it done. And for Demon, they're going to welcome that with open arms. It's 7 for them. They will be chasing the next 2 to close out this half relatively cleanly and try to put us into the 3rd and final map in Split as close as they can, or as quick as they can, rather. Currently leading the charge, though. Maple and Swirl, your duelists, finding the kills that they need to, but I mean, this round, Gaza still on the classic. I'm wondering what is happening here with them.
Bit of overconfidence. I don't know. I feel like that might be the case, but they have a right to be in some aspects. Like they've done well.
Maybe Gaza does have a weapon in possession. You're gonna know the Blade Storm's going to be brought out as well, so it can get thrown over.
It's still very slow though, like they're dragging out the util again from these Overpower Strike players, and at least so far, Reloaded has got that advantage onto Ferg.
Great shots, great decisive kills to come out from Maple. Composer's going to get the trade, which does keep Overpower Strike in the player advantage right now. Signs TP would have been heard as he's going to bathrooms to gather the spike. For Demon, we still do have that recon bolt available to clear it out as well. A fault line soon. A rolling thunder could be utilized to get in toward the site. You can see that all of Overpower Strike are lurking around the A site. They could even just make sure they let Demon go for the plant for the vulnerability point when it's you know, the planter. You got the other person trying to hold them off in the 1 versus technically 3 it would be. So lots of options for Overpower Strike to toy with here. If Compose loses his life, that could be a rolling thunder in deeper into the site. It's actually going to be used to entry.
One enemy remaining.
Oh,
it is going to make things a little bit difficult for them, but Overpower Strike, they're just too good on the whole, Dion. They've got one more player to find.
All the time. Oh, the shock dart. Will the second one get it? Oh, it does miss it out, but that's information now for Pex on how to fight out this duel. It's Sova v Sova action. No shock darts for Pex. The recon bolt keeping signed, locked at the back of Triple. Shots out, needs to jump on down, signed. How does he play this one out? Does he wait for the drop? He's masked it with the presence of the shot, but you can see the trajectory of where the bullet came from, and signed will catch the headshot somehow, some way. Demon, they win that round.
In the half.
Gun here.
And just with 1 round left, I don't even know how he's just gone ahead and won that, but that was a round that Overpower Strike 110% should have won. There's no reason why they shouldn't have won that as well. I think it was Science, sorry, just pulled it out for the side of Demon. And heading into the last round of this half, Overpower Strike, they need to win this one to have somewhat of a chance in the next half.
Yeah, well, remember, the attacking side of Bayern can always be a fickle thing. Usually it does sway the way of the defensive side, and for right now, it does open up with that side of things. Chronic's able to find Maple, who was trying to just shoot out the recon bolt, distracted by it. So it does mean a powerful player for Demon is down for the count. No Sages on this map, of course, right now. Joe, no Resurrection available. Damage dealt is damage done, unless in the case of Reloaded, who can heal in the hot hands.
Stim beacon down.
Yeah, at least for now, this utility from Ferg just opening things up and running back to come through from Reloaded, trying to see if he can find himself some kills, but flashes are going to prevent him from pushing through up until now. But the side of Demon, they're going to be going to the other side. They've completely bamboozled this Overpower Strike defense, and now they might have an opening.
Well, Reddit might be liking with you there, Joe. Bamboozle is their word, of course, right now, and that's exactly what Demon are looking to do to them. Swirl's going to open up onto Chronix, which means both of the Jets are down. They're just going to make sure that they clear out all of Garden completely. Try and get the plant. Swirl somehow is just going to lose his life to Wildflower. Managed to take him down at relatively low, however. Hunter's Fury out a little bit early, a little bit presumptuous. Composed to find Gaza. This is a sticky round coming forward. Reloaded to find Ferg. Oz Rhino finds Sign, who was pushed out from the Orbital Strike. And over Power Strike, they do make a very clean retake successful. That means the half here, Joe, is going to be 4-8 in favor of Demon.
No, it's a very clean retake, as you're saying, for them, and honestly, getting that 4th round on the board for them is definitely going to be a confidence boost heading into their attacking side. And at least on the side of Demon towards the end, they kind of picked up the pace a little bit. They still managed to get a lot of those plants down, where the side of Overpower Strike actually was forced into a lot of retake scenarios, which, you know, it did work for the most part in some of those rounds, but I hope at the attacking side there is a bit of a switch up from them, potentially to get a couple more rounds on the board, because a lot of the time it was more of like that passive play style, whereas the side of Demon just played it slow and then just pounced when their opponents were weak.
Yeah, it definitely is something that you would hope that the in-game leader is able to pick up quite quickly, or one of the teammates to be able to mention that and act accordingly. Of course, the switch up at the half right now, Joe, does mean it's presumably will be a different change of pace for both of these sides. But remember what I mentioned earlier was the 3 duelists on the side of Overpower Strike. It'll lead into some more aggressive plays from them on this attacker side, and they're doing that already. Swirl's going to be dinked down relatively low at the back of U-Hole. Berg's going to be revealed by the recon bolts as well, and he just has to dance around the triple boxes. Plant starts to go down 5 versus 5. This could be a really wild retake.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage that's been done as well, so it's still potentially on the table for Overpower Strike. A lot of picks could come through for them, but at least at the moment, there are a couple of trades coming through for the side of Demon, but it is making stuff a little bit harder for this Overpower Strike side.
And the defuse will be stuck as well. When you've got bodies everywhere on the side of Demon, you can have one person sticking in and the rest of them looking over you. Just make sure they cover all of your angles. And in the end, I guess Overpower Strike will exit with another kill, but Demon will exit with another round, and that does put them one step closer. It means that that's the first pistol they found. Remember, it was Overpower Strike finding the opening pistol in a very close turn of events. And as we've said earlier, you know, Demon, they are wanting to try and speedrun this one to get us into that next map, and finding the pistol here, as long as they don't drop this one, it could potentially be the case.
Right here.
And this buy from the side of Overpower Strike, just a bit of a weaker one. They've still got a couple of SMGs on the board for themselves to try and make that damage work. But Gaza up towards Hookah, going to be forced to back off. Just a swarm of players trying to catch him off guard. But the 3-man defense on the side of Demon on this B site could spell trouble for the side of Overpower Strike.
Neutralized.
Oh, the TP is going to be heard a little bit late. That rotation is going to come over towards the A site now. Swirl definitely doesn't need to chase up the frags here. He can just work with a Ferg at a different angle of the site. And as I say that, Ferg will find Chronix. Swirl is going to try and deny the spike from being planted. Will do so successfully. He gets taken out for his troubles, however. That is just going to be down to the last remaining soldier in Overpower Strike. Old Rhino will find Maple. Down to 72 HP. Another one on the side. He'd be on for the ace right now if he can find these 1 versus 1 duels to the 2 remaining Demon players. He's going to spot out where Gaza is. He's going to try and hop in. That's a little bit presumptuous again, you know, dropping down your utility when they are very close. Gaza just holds the line, finds frag, and Demon is double digits for them.
Yeah, they did well that round, 2 consecutively now for them, and with these rifles being brought up on the side of Demon, their confidence is starting to build. You've seen it at least in the last half, and it's continuing into this next one, Dion, with 2 consecutive rounds now. And for the side of Overpower Strike, it's getting dire for them. They need to start trying to pick up these rounds, and it may not be this one with the pistols, but we have seen them win a round on more so an eco in comparison to what they have had before. And I do hope they can manage to string some more on the board.
Well, whichever way you look at it, Demon, if they win this round cleanly, or if anyone loses their lives, that is going to be the purchase up in the next round to the better weaponry for them, the Phantoms and the Vandals, and that's actually what's leading the charge in this one. Maple is going to find Chronix in the beginning. No return of any damage from Overpower Strike just yet. Down 2 players. Down 6 rounds, looking to have another player be bested as well, finds Pex, and Pistols are just not getting the job done, unfortunately, right now for Power Strike.
One enemy remaining.
And really, the Sheriff's not really doing as much as they might have hoped, and that's just going to leave it down to Compose, unfortunately, in that 1v5 situation. He could maybe find himself a pick or two, but anything more, not going to happen. Unfortunately, a sign will pick him up, and now 2 rounds difference between us seeing a third map here.
Yeah, this is going to be the real big round for Power Strike. Finally, they'll have their purchase in, but we know that Demon, well, they survive with all 5 of their players. I actually do wonder if any of them are going to purchase on up and upgrade themselves, dropping those Spectres. They've got 7 rounds of padding to technically do so right now, but, I mean, just play the safe game. You know, you've got your submachine guns, just use them at the close quarters, because if you do drop this round to Power Strike, you've still got that money to reinvest in towards the next one. But as I do say that, Swirl is going to only hit the wall with the rocket. A little bit of extra damage onto Chronix. Paint Shells is going to find Pex, and I mean, the Showstopper doesn't do it. Everything else does for him.
Yeah, it's going to make things harder for the side of Power Strike here as well, and the confidence is just flourishing on the side of Demon. And at least for now, they're kind of just stuck. They don't really know where they want to go. Like, this team is just playing so aggressive, especially the breach up forward. Like, he could easily just catch off Reloaded, who's at least trying to find himself a pick. And Gaza is barely just going to be able to find him there as well, Dion. So that's just going to leave the last 2 left on the attacking side, but he has managed to find himself a trade.
Yeah, finding a trade in the end of it, but in that trade, it's the first kill in the round for Power Strike. They were already in a strugglesome situation, and now even more so as their Rays taken down to the very low HPs. A single bullet could end their life and leave it all onto the back of Composed, and Demon have still got a lot of utility to be able to toil in towards the server right now.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, still got some time to play with, and Signed, this is a nice forward aggression position. He knows that these players are going to be coming through, and with that TP coming out as well, it's just going to make things all much more easier for Demon.
Well, it's that point now, Joe. It's 12 for Demon. They've got enough money in their back pocket, of course, to reinvest what little was left in that round. And for Power Strike, I mean, you can't really say the same. I said it yesterday. Whenever you've got a Guardian being brought out, you know you're in a dire situation, and we've got one of those right now. With what else they have, it's the pistols. It's maybe 1 or 2 of these players, Spectres for the rest of them. No matter which way you throw it into the pot, it's not going to turn out great for them. We'll see what can be done. I mean, as I said yesterday as well, we've seen more done with less. And just see a really great shot on the Sheriff at mine, if you remember right. But full send, as you mentioned, in towards the A site. The rocket, can it get anything done? It's going to expire.
It's going to make things hard for them as well. Like, they managed to get onto the side of this retake. It's going to make things hard.
There's another frag that'll be favourable for Power Strike in this round. Spike down, they just need to hold it off as the tick on the defuse does get pulled through. Pex is going to bring out the Hunter's Fury, not tagging anybody just yet. You can stick it through the last one. Reloaded coming out through showers. Maple's already on the defuse. Swirl is down. It's all onto Maple. It's onto Ferg as well. The judge can't get it done. There's enough time for the defuse and the hot hands. I mean, they only last for 4 seconds, so the defuse is out. The jury's out. Demon, they will win this map. There you have it. So, Demon
makes it hard.
Well, technically 1, technically 2, as it ties it up 1-1.
Yeah, it does make things harder for Power Strike, especially, you know, they had that 1 map advantage due to them not rocking up on time, and at least for now, Demon are here to play. Like, they may have given up that first map, but they were confident before coming into Bind, and now heading on to Split, which is going to be technically the 3rd map, but technically the 2nd.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be hard for them to come back into it, potentially.
Yeah, we'll call it as the 3rd map here. It's the 1-1 scoreline. Whoever wins this will take the victory coming forward in tonight. Of course, we are going to give the players a little bit of breathing room to set things up for the next one. We ourselves are going to set things up for the next one as well before we do jump into Split. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to chuck a $5 for this little break, and we will be back with map number 3 around the corner.
just time traveled. Ah, today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still in the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the VALORANT Oceania Tour for 2021. Of course, we have just finalized the technically first 2 maps here between Demon and over Strike, which does mean, Joe, we are just around the corner from getting into map number 3 in a split.
It should be rather interesting, especially after Bind, where unfortunately we did see Demon actually overcome over Strike, where they just just had the upper hand the whole game, if I'm going to be honest with you, on their map pick. But for the over Strike boys, they did all right to try and maintain the advantage they did have after having that first map lead. But there's still a lot more to come.
Yeah, a lot more to come, and not only in this match, of course, Joe, but in the next match afterwards too, because we do have, of course, Mindfreak taking on the Direwolves a little bit later. It'll be after this map coming, I guess, maybe relatively on that tight schedule at 9 p.m. Maybe it'll be stretched out a little bit later for that one. But for this one here, Joe, from what we've seen from over Strike so far, do you think that they're going to be able to topple over Demon when it comes to split?
I think it could potentially happen, like in the last greeting that these guys had together. It's on a similar style. They had quite close games, but at least from what we just saw, it was kind of a bit more one-sided towards Demon. But heading on to Split, it is a map that can go either way. We saw it happen yesterday where it was more attacking-sided than it was defense, with those changes coming through, and we could potentially see a similar scenario.
Yeah, well, I think for me, one of the big things when it comes to this final map here is that we're going to see a difference in the map pool. We're going to see the tendency of over Strike to keep in those 3 duelists, so they're going to play it a little bit more safe and maybe get out that, Sage when it comes to split. Generally, it comes out, but we will wait and see, of course. We could be seeing actually some Cypher or Killjoy action too. Haven't seen that tonight so far.
We hope to see some Sentinels. We saw on Bind there wasn't any to be seen, so there should be a switch up, at least heading on to Split, where it is a very Sentinel-heavy map, to say the least. Whether you get your Sage, your Cypher, your Killjoy, no matter what one you go with, every single one of them has a key feature on that map where they play.
Yeah, well, I remember once upon a time, when we did have Ferg bringing out the Killjoy, and of course now I think, if I remember correctly, it is going to be Gaza bringing it forward in for the side of Demon. On the flip side, Chronix to be bringing out the Cypher is kind of what I'm going to be expecting. So a little bit of different changes in the agents. Of course, though, guys, those that may have just been joining in to the final map right now, we are going into a split here. It is only the first best of 3 to come forward, though, Joe, because it does, as I just mentioned, we have another one after this.
Some more Valorant action coming to you after Split, but at least the focus now that is actually going to be on this map, which is between Demon and over Strike. And last series, pretty one-sided, at least the side of Demon, but at least in this next one, hopefully we get to see a bit of a closer game.
Yeah, I would like to see a bit of a closer game in this map, and I guess maybe on the second one, of course, as well, between the Direwolves and Mindfreak. I see that potentially their little observer has just alt-tabbed from the game, so we'll quickly be bringing that one back up just to fix out the issues. There we go. We should be all relatively good.
Seems like we're up and running. That's all right. Beautiful. But it is a very heavy stack to kick things off for the side of Demon over towards that A site.
And as I mentioned earlier, of course, in that agent's little selection, we do actually have the Killjoy being brought through from Demon and the Cypher over and over Strike. So leading in towards their tendencies from the previous time. Still got the Brimstone on the side of Demon, but for over Strike and Omen, a bit of a change of pace. And we're going straight shooting in towards the B side, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty free take, if I'm going to be honest for them. Like, they've just managed to waltz their way in. They've gotten everyone on the site. And now, for the side of Demon, they've got to go for a retake here. And an opportunity has presented itself for Reloaded, who's managed to find 2 kills.
2 kills on the Frenzy. Everybody looking for more kills with the Frenzies right now. Swirl, though, is bringing out the Ghost and is going to find Chronic, sending him to the Shadow Realm. Overpower Strike down in the deficits with 2 players alive right now. Still Demon starting to get that defuse happening as Maple finds Pex. It's all on the Macavol's Rono. Great shot on towards Maple. Spike technically is planted for him, but with 21 HP into the crosshairs of both of these players. They will find him in the end. Defuse to come through from Demon, and round 1 is secured and bagged for them.
Quite a solid retake overall. Like, they allowed the site, only had the Killjoy drone really just sitting there trying to pepper away as much damage as it could. And for a team like Demon, who really just gambled on that A push, they did really well to retake that. And a lot of the players on the side of Overpower Strike, they just weren't able to adapt to those players pushing through after that 2-man advantage at the start.
Yeah, well, it is going to be the Overpower Strike side, you know, trying to contain things, trying to find their rhythm going into this map here, because they didn't really find it, I think, when it came to map number 1 in Bind. And, I mean, they've been able to find a plant here. Hopefully they'll be able to solidify themselves into the hold status when it goes after plant. They have got up some pistols into this new round. We'll see if they can convert it. They are being pressured in through mid for the beginnings.
Shadows.
A lot of presence being shown, at least towards middle, for Overpower Strike. And even now, a bit of a split setup, trying to potentially find where these players are going to be located. But this B stack they have got going on the side of Demon, it is big. They've got a lot of players rounded up there, at least for the time being.
Yeah, a little bit of a gamble stack, a little bit of information to be seen right now. Of course, you got that lurking camera for Overpower Strike over at A, just to make sure that there's no flanks coming through. But as soon as this Ult Orb is heard, Pex gathering it, as the jig's up, everyone's going over towards B. Swirl apparently is not knowing where to shoot with the mouse button. He was blinded out, but stopped in the fight. This means that the rest of the teams are starting, or the players rather for these teams are getting a lot of these kills. It's 1-1 trades going left, right, and center right now. Everybody doesn't know what happens. I can't keep track of what's happening. And finally, it's 1 versus 1. Great shot from Ferg on Wildflower. He's even spotted out Chronic right now, looking at the top of the rafters. What do you have it? The pistols get the job done.
Yeah, pretty quick, tedious round, honestly, from them. And at least heading into this next round down, hope to see a little bit more come through from both teams, because that round was just an absolute mess on the push. At least Chronic's been able to finish things off there for them, and that does tie things up, at least for them.
Well, we've already seen a way here, Joe, which, you know, Overpower Strike found the pistol and Demon were able to find that second round. Now it's the other way, so maybe Overpower Striker will be able to continue themselves going forward. Pistols, of course, for Demon, getting a little bit antsy in towards Garage. We'll see if they can find Pex here. Great splash point to go on through, Swell to send himself in. Gaza to find a trade. Great paranoia as well, will force them back.
A lot of utility being utilized here, at least for the time being, and it's making stuff harder and harder for them, at least heading into the early stages of this round down.
Last player standing.
I have retrieved the spike.
Maple up on rafters, going to drop down an audible cue for Overpower Strike, but maybe he can find the timing around it. That shot is going to catch him off guard in towards it. That's the spike being dropped as well. Great dash and reposition around the site. Just needs one to connect to the face, and he will do so as well. Maple, 3k in the round, clutching it through for Demon, but it got very sticky for them. You know, shouldn't have really seen a world, I guess, for Overpower Strike where they're losing that round, but Demon, in all the confusion, managed to win it out.
Yeah, very close overall, but Maple a 3-piece to cap things off for them, and at least a sign of Demon down. That does give themselves the advantage, at least in this half so far, and heading into this next one with the rifles on board on at least the side of Demon, they should see themselves potentially getting a third here on the board, and at least for Overpower Strike, it is going to make things a little bit harder for them.
Yeah, well, again, it's going to be that aggression from Demon going in towards the garage, just secure some of the information. Erg will be the one charged with that, buys loans himself. A bit more of a default to be stretched out from Demon, although you do have Maple peeking over towards a main at the moment. Again, just a bit of a default for Overpower Strike, going to try and prod their way in towards screens, or rather ropes. If they could get to screens, that'd be good for them. They do have the Omen, but no from the shadows right now. Maple I have to be very careful just to be watching over on this ropes location because he doesn't have anyone next to him to assist. All he's got is his teammate on the site in Gaza on that killjoy with the util down.
Fire in the hole!
Great use of the rocket to come through as well. Maple to find one there as Pex gets the trade. Gaza on 8 HP. Gonna let the plant go on through right now. Can't really use his utility at the present time. Seeing all the bodies at the back of the site. Will find the best out composed. Reloaded to fall 2. And now it is just down to the last remaining soldier in Oz Rhino. The Ghost can't get it done, unfortunately. And Demon, they're going to survive with 4 players, albeit 2 relatively low. Take away a defuse, take away a couple of ults as well.
Yeah, another big round from Demon there, Dion. And as I was saying before, that third round really is not a surprise from them, especially with the rifles on the board. But for Overpower Strike, it's a good thing for them. They got that spike down, which is going to assist them heading into this next one. And it does seem like a bit of consistency starting to build for the side of Demon. The confidence, again, as I was saying before, carrying over from Bind.
Well, we've seen 1 round, Joe, so far from Overpower Strike. They've got the ultimates now to be able to do something with. They've got that Rolling Thunder to just divert things away from Demon, but I mean, counteracted to that, they themselves also have one. Apparently Maple's interest has already been seen in through mid. Will he be ambitious enough to go for another attempt? Wildflower in the meantime is going to find Swirl over peaking at the B site. That means that we are one step closer to finding the showstopper. Not too close just yet to be bringing it out. Things certainly leaning over towards the B site for Overpower Strike currently. I do like, though, that they aren't just going with the 1 pick that they have already secured because they don't have too much of the information. They don't have a way even to destroy the lockdown of Gaza. Great flashpoint from Signs. The counter paranoia can only do so much, and at least Overpower Strike also are keeping their player advantages here. Is the lockdown going to go down, though, from Gaza as the plant is here on the 2 versus 4? Oh, you can see that he's toying with it, looking to take it down a little bit late. I wonder if the pressure is going to get to them. You can see that the retake is already looking to be mounted out through mid. Overpower Strike aware that this lockdown was going to be coming on down. Maple's going to get blindsided out by Chronix pushing through the trap wire. Now it is just down to Gaza. Only 1 player detained from the lockdown. It's not going to phase Overpower Strike whatsoever as Chronix will find Gaza in the end.
Just having some technical issues over on my end, Dion. Don't mind me.
That goes there. Oh, this is a nice spot. I'm ready.
Turret out.
It is all good, my friend. These things that do happen, of course. We will be just rolling with it.
No more charges left.
Overpower Strike. Having another round on their scoreboard. Just breathing out in this round right now. They know the Demon still has 2 ults to play with. They know that they have the funds to purchase on through. Very slow, thought-out round right now as Overpower Strike finally starts to get in towards the side of B. Blade Storm to come on through. More shots to be calculated from Overpower Strike, and they do have that player advantage now. It's going to be equalized as the plant starts to go down, but Ferg is going to deny that from happening in the nick of time as well. It's all going to be down on to Pex. See if he can bring it back in the 1 versus 3. Up on the rafters. I wonder if it's going to be expected. However, I will be spot out. There's the first, the free fire in the second.
Left.
Can't quite gather it out. Ferg is going to swing on the back of the stim beacon and powered in those bullets and will find the frag. In the end, the Demon mounts back for 4.
Yeah, just another really solid round again coming through from Demon, Dion. And to top it off with 2 players remaining, the spike not going down for Overpower Strike, unfortunately. And At least for the time being, though, Demon again starting to try and spring these rounds together. But over Power Strike, they're still peppering. They're finding these kills, and that's what's making the key factor in them trying to get back into this game. There's still plenty of opportunities, at least on their side of things, to make things work.
Yeah, well, an opportunity given right now to Demon is something that they are definitely going to capitalize upon. So over Power Strike need to make sure that they are providing themselves with some of their own opportunities. And right now, they're just going to try and steamroll into towards the A site. Maple's going to see a dash in the counter smoke, and he's actually going to utilize that to try and get around the site. And he's going to do so in perfection, finding 2 kills and extension on for the 3rd. As well will be taken out. Sign gets one back, and it's a 2-player advantage. Make that 3 for Demon, really putting a lot down on this side. Oswino now try and clutch it out. Finds it and brings it into the 1 versus 3. Taken down to 70 HP. 3 bullets will get the job done, and it's going to be Maple through the smoke. Who else to find a 4K in the round?
Another pivotal round, at least from Demon, Dion. Like, Maple going massive 4 kills on the board for himself, and now building it up to 5 now for the side of Demon, just making things even more harder for the side of Power Strike. And for the attackers, they really just got to sit and think for the time being, just really directing our attention to the scoreboard as well, Dion. Like, this buy for the side of Power Strike, it's a bit ugly for them heading into this next one. And considering the 4 out of the last 5 rounds have been won by Demon, it's really not going to be helping that status.
Yeah, you can see that over Power Strike as well, with what you've mentioned, the worst of weaponry aren't really capitalizing on those shots in those 1 versus 1 duels already in the beginning. There's eventually a trade, but I would like to see them get something done a little bit sooner right now, back into the favor of Demon. The remaining 3 players get something done. It is just strugglesome for them, you know. They're falling in line in their defaults in these sort of rounds, that they're finding a little bit of unfortunate stuff. There's a dink, I believe, from Reloaded actually on towards Gaza, taking him down to an extremely low point of HP, 5. So that's the 145 to the head. You always hate to see that one. But really the thing that's getting to me right now, Quick Draw, for over Power Strike, is they're relying upon these defaults, it seems, a little bit too often for my liking right now. And Demon are just really reading into those. You can even see right now they're letting them get into heaven just to rely upon their own utility.
Yeah, it is really just making things hard for them consistently as well. And even now in this 3v4 situation out on the site, it's just making stuff so much more
30
harder.
seconds left.
Trying to hold the line down with Stinger. Smell is just going to capitalize upon that and jump under him. Reloaded to at least get the trade. Looking for another one's not going to come into play. It's down Oz Rhino again with Ghost. Swell's already taken low, remember, but he can't quite get it done. A flashpoint down. He gets the dink. He gets the kill. 1 versus 2, but Maple is not expected in position. He'll be finding it as well to put Demon on their 6th round.
And once again, like, they over Power Strike boys just continuously trying to get onto the site and getting the spike down. It's really just the holes at this point that are just letting them down. They're trying to get picks, getting onto these sites, and at least as it stands, like, they're doing their best to get out, Dion. We kind of just need to see a little bit more from them. The defaults are somewhat working, but they're losing players just so very early on to these players.
I think the biggest thing as well that you mentioned there, though, is you say that the defaults are working. They're kind of not really. They're able to get the spike down, yeah, but Demon are just already getting into those retakes relatively early that over Power Strike aren't even able to plant their footing onto the site, and they're just getting overrun. So finally, that over Power Strike do have another purchase to come on through. They have to make sure that they're gathering this round. They have to make sure they're getting the opening kill even. Swell and Maple going to be overlooking into mid, and whilst they do make quick work of Maple, Swell's already here for the trade out. He can blast back himself out of this location if he wants to. Compose was taken low. He gets finished off. Swell now just needs to try and get the pain shells off to see if he can do anything extra in the round, but already off the get-go, there you have it. Over Power Strike, they're just getting absolutely obliterated.
So good team communication as well, especially through middle, where they just back up Swirl. He manages to find 2 picks, and then he's forced to at least get his teammate there to assist him. And as a result, the spike's down. That's basically the round on lockdown for the time being for the side of over Power Strike, unfortunately. They haven't been able to regain that positioning to get the spike as of yet. And at least for the side of Demon, like, they've got so much control of this middle area.
So much control right now for Demon. And that turret is going to spot out Chronic, giving Gaza a bunch of information. Still does have the nano swarms on site in case they do funnel through main. But just look how disconnected
30
over
seconds
Strike
left.
are right now as well. You got one player over at the Heaven of A that Chronix can't do anything. Wildflower's just even missed his
player
jump, so that's a sound cue over to Squirrel that he just finds the really freest kill of his life. It's 4 in the round as well, even hunting for the ace. Chronix is going to be gifted one onto Gaza. Sign is going to get the trade out, and that is another round blowing over to Demon.
Number 7 on the board, Dion, one step closer to that double-digit scoreline. And so far on this defense, it's the complete opposite of what we have seen from yesterday, where a team was able to maintain so many rounds on that attacking side. Now it's just a flip of the switch with these different rosters on board. And honestly, like, a lot of these holds are just working really, really well for the side of Demon. Like, Overpower Strike hasn't really been able to get into those sites in the early stages, but it's most part towards the end of those rounds where they're able to at least try and sneak their way onto the side, but then just fail to hold it.
And it feels like we just need to see something extremely different to come through from Overpower Strike right now. If they just have any chance in this game, Maple, I mean, Demon as a whole are just changing the things that they're doing time and time again. And whilst Maple does get taken out in a trade, Finder's still lurking about, able to find 2 again. Really, just nothing is blowing Overpower Strike's way, unfortunately. Sign does give up the bag a little bit, but Swell is comfortable enough to bring it back. And Demon, they just shut down another round attempt from Overpower Strike, really just extending their control in this game.
It just seems to be that consistent factor of just demolishing them at every angle, and Sai that round really just showing what he's worth, just getting aggressive, getting those picks early, and really it's just a fearless mindset from the side of Demon. They just seem very confident in what they're doing. They don't care if they push. They know they're going to win these duels. That's the mindset you really want to be having, especially if you're a team like these guys.
Alrighty, Joe. The next 2 rounds need to be Overpower Strikes. And they need to almost be flawless in the fact just to have a stance in this game, I feel. 5 ultimates. Given control of ramp as well. But how are they going to utilize this? Maple already here. He's been the instigator on a lot of these Demon plays. Likewise with Swirl. Flash point into Overpower Strike. Catches Maple a little bit blind. Ferg, though, is even more so. He gets vested in the duel. Demon, they do fall back from these fights, but they aren't out of it just yet. Gaza actually does get Kendrick off, so finally, there's a way for Overpower Strike, and they might even do so flawless. As I said, though, Sign is going to make me eat my words. Good for 2. Does get traded out. Overpower Strike finally gather another round.
Last round before the switch.
It's a nice thing to see. It's taken a while, to say the least, to get that 3rd round on the board for themselves. And I guess the other thing for them, they didn't use all of their ults. They only used just the 1, which was on the Raze. And at least for now, we need to see some more kills come through from this side. Getting a 4th round is going to support them heading into this next half. Very similar scoreline to what we did actually see on Bind as well. And they're starting to pick up the pace a little bit more, which is going to be a positive factor for them. But consistency is going to be the name of the game. So far, 5 rounds consistently in a row for the side of Demon.
Yeah, certainly largely in charge right now for them. Blade's already out for Overpower Strike, but Maple already just going to find reloaded straight away from the shadows. Does actually get denied as another trade does come into fruition. Demon still holding the grasp on this round. Swirl finds one to compose. He knows the Boombot already tickled at Chronix. The right click come out from the Classic. He is literally just dancing on his opponents and also giving us a little bit of a show here, Joe, because he takes himself out with his name.
I mean, if you want kills, why not kill yourself as well? I guess that's the simplest way of putting it, but that's just going to leave Osrano, unfortunately, by himself in a 1v3 situation. And at least for now, he's got a lot of work on his shoulders down. He's got the spike in hand, but he needs to try and find these picks.
And Sign is going to be the one to find it to close out the half here. 9-3. A very, very definite lead for Demon. I mean, it was a rocky start for them, of course, with the 1 map advantage going over to Overpower Strike, but they're certainly looking to take away a victory at the current time. Just want to put that out there that that isn't going to be the, you know, eventual set in stone outcome right now, because anything can happen. Overpower Strike, they might just be able to click themselves into overdrive now, get sorted on this defensive side. We've seen pistol rounds, we've seen little glimpses, I think is the factor here from them. They just need to provide us with a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's really the right term to be using. Like, it's not like they're losing rounds extremely poorly. Like, they're actually getting picks and getting very, very close, but they just aren't able to finish things off. And, you know, hopefully on this defensive side where they have another opportunity to make things work, we could see something happen for them.
Well, the big opportunity right now for Overpower Strike is potentially even going in for a bit of a retake, because they've gifted over a lot of control to Demon already. They're already secured their grasps over mid, looking to do so up through ramp, and whilst they do have Composed in ropes, he is now known, or at least able to escape with full HP and a kill. But I speak too soon. Gaza will get the trade.
Trying to make things work, but Wildflower has been able to pick up a first. Not sure if he knows about the second, and Rhino has actually picked up Gaza as well, so that's going to give them the advantage now in this round, Dion. After all that control you were saying about before, now it's just completely unraveled for them.
Yeah, it's an extremely slow round to come through from really both of these sides. A little bit of heated moments, that's for sure. But the Demon slow and steady to segregate these duels and make sure that they're winning them. Maple finds Rhino. Sign gets pulled out in B main. He gets swung on nicely by Pex. It's all in this one versus 3-4 Maple, but he can't unfortunately get it done. And it is that glimpse of hope that we needed to see for Overpower Strike. They've secured the pistol here, but they do need to carry on momentum. They really need to start to stick it to Demon. No plant does mean it's pistols again for the side of Demon here.
Yeah, I mean, pistols is going to be an opportunity for Overpower Strike to try and get their way back into this. And, you know, a round like that is definitely going to be the way to kick things off in the second half. It's a fresh start. You can try to get those rounds going and try to bring yourself up to at least a tied scoreline. And we saw the attacking side work very well yesterday for one of the teams we did witness. And today so far, it's looking a little bit better, honestly, for Overpower Strike in this one.
Well, Chronix is going to be able to find Maple in the corner of the Sky Smoke. Ferg to get out a little bit of a trade onto a different jet. Ambition from Ferg to get that one. At least the trade is through. Pistols, remember, for Demon, and they've managed to get a spike plant down. 2 frags, upgrade in the weapons. Rhino going to spot out the players in through screens. Actually managing to dismiss of 2. Pex will get the better of him in the end, and Overpower Strike, they do get another round on their tally. Needed, remember, they are chasing a lot in this one right now, putting themselves on 5. It does ultimately mean Demon now will have their purchase, and we've seen the horns be brought out from them in map number 1 that we witnessed over on Bind in the starting of this one here. Maybe it looks to grow on through, and this is where they run it from out.
Yeah, they could potentially blossom into something a lot better, and at least heading into this one now, it is going to be basically the full buy from the side of Demon. So the rifles are going to be on the board, the armor's there for them, the utility, everything you need to try and finalize this series. But Overpower Strike, they've still got those SMGs and some pistols, so they can make it work for themselves heading into this one potentially, but it all just depends on where they want to head.
Well, again, control of mid is what Demon are going to look to establish. Composed instantly, just withdrawing from that fight. Maple to lead the charge in towards the A site. Updraft on top of the rafters and the tailwind. I thought he'd seen Chronix there, but I guess he's turned away the crosshair a little bit too early. Well, to find Composed, and as the fight looks to get planted, we should be seeing an advantage be brought in stone for Demon. Reloaded even going to be taken down through the smoke, and do you even go for it if you're Overpower Strike right now? 2 versus 4, Spike is down, they're trying to do so, the rockets even missed, and now both players' locations are known.
Rhino's HP down, like it's just so low
right now.
Bingo.
It's unlucky. Like, they had the right idea, at least in that scenario. Like, they did well to try and retake the side, but honestly, like, as soon as they got that spike down and that extra positioning intact, it just made stuff so much harder for them that round. And Overpower Strike, it's slowly getting to a point where it's a point beyond return, Dion, and at least at the time being, they're just trying their best to slip through into these rounds. They're still finding picks, as I was saying before, but it's just making stuff harder for them.
Take them.
Well, any slip-ups here from over Power Strike Demon, one step closer to closing this one out.
You should run.
Lockdown going to be deployed from them to try to get in towards B. It is one of those things I've already mentioned. There's no counter to this lockdown on over Power Strike side. Literally, would only be the aftershock from the breach, the paint shells from the raise. Pose is going to get taken down. He's been seen in ropes one too many times. Swirl's just lurked into the site. Things are extremely going in Demon's favor. Spike eventually going to be planted. You've got that Rolling Thunder from Ozrhino that you could try and deny that, or just utilize to try to get in towards the site in a attempted retake. They're even going to go for it, however, and they still do have Chronics lurking them through the mid just to clear out all the corners. Sky Smoke eventually going to fade over in the B alleyway. Bot line down towards the heavens, though, just to make sure they can try to clear it out. Nobody needs to instigate a
Trying
fight
their best,
here
and
from
honestly,
Demon. Just look after the angles.
Hostile removed.
One enemy remaining. Clutch.
I had to focus for a second.
It was a bit of a rough gig for them that round, Dion, honestly. Like, it's kind of hard to see that take place. Like, at least they were able to at least try and save some stuff through into that one. But honestly, like, the side of Demon, they're just so much more confident at the moment. They've got 2 more rounds until they close out the series, potentially. And
Let's fly.
over Power Strike, again, they're still finding picks, makes stuff harder for them. But honestly, there needs to be a switch up. Maybe change up some positioning, potentially, from these players. But, you know, the Rolling Thunder to kick things off, it's not going to be looking too good.
Yeah, well, let's see if they're going to be able to contain things over on this A side. At least the reveal of the trapwire does put Ferg in the dirt. Chronics to pop the cage as well to creep on in toward the site. It's going to be looked after, however, from Maple, you would presume, or rather expect. Gaza to dismiss of Composed, and as that spike does go down, it makes things really interesting for over Power Strike and how they're going to go for this retake. Reloaded gets bested by Gaza, the rocket in. Does mean 12 finds Chronics. Another one would be 12, and he manages to find it and shut down at the round. That is now 12 on the board for Demon, and that is an elimination point that over Power Strike are facing.
Big round from Swell, just with those entries. 3 picks, especially with Here Comes the Party, managing to find one as well. And for the side of Demon, that's what you want to be seeing. A straight push, finding picks. Even the player who went for the flank as well on the push, it just didn't work. And in a situation like this, where the buy really is not going to be in your favor on the side of over Power Strike, it's going to make things harder for them to try and maintain at least some rounds consistently to get themselves back into this game. But Demon, they're going to be looking hot, trying to finish themselves off.
Yeah, they might even want to do it in a little bit of style right now. If they could just completely obliterate over Power Strike and put them in good stead moving on in the bracketing system. Because remember, they're going to be going up against the winner of the Direwolves and Mind Freak, which we will be witnessing as our next BO3, folks. But whilst we are in a possible last round standing in this one, we can't count them out because over Power Strike, they're still alive and kicking. They're still trying to prove what they are capable of right now. But again, one of the biggest things that I waltz over in this map is over Power Strike keep giving up control of mid to Demon. Wildfire, good for one for getting the trade on out onto Reloaded. Does mean that the Blade Storm was down. A potential opportunity for over Power Strike to get something moving. Composed now, hearing all the footsteps on the ropes, lines up for 2. Drops the spike as well. Definitely a way in for this round. You would hate to see a world where Demon do manage to bring this one back. Maple catches the timing onto Chronix, brings out the blades of his own.
30 seconds
He's
left.
available to get the spike. They could even go back over towards B if they wanted. Have to get across the ramp. Blades try to be utilized, but Composed scoped in on the Bulldog. Does manage to chop down onto Maple. Pre-fire out from Gaza. He whiffs it. 3 HP and disoriented from the fault line. A fake plant attempts. Over Power Strike, showing all their bodies into it as well. Doesn't really matter. As Wildfire will clean up Gaza.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They're trying to make things work for themselves, but, you know, in that situation where you have a 3-on-1, it's really not going to be too likely it's going to fall in your favor. And, you know, that whiff as well, trying to push under the site from Maple. He did well to get the first pick, but then the second didn't really manage to at least get a grasp on the spray, and it's a bit unfortunate for them. That could have been the round, but, you know, over Power Strike, there's still a way to get back into it. More rounds need to be gained for them, but, you know, it's not all but done. They've still got 6 rounds until they tie things up.
Yeah, 6 rounds. That is a gigantic stretch. That is for sure. That is a way in. The swirl. And all of Demon. Great use of the abilities, the utility up towards the heavens as well to doubly clear it out. Current stuck on the back of the site, getting pressured. 5 alive still for Demon. Not a single thing to be seen for over Power Strike. Finally, Reloaders is able to do so, but Spike is already going down. He's already getting taken down relatively low. Still playing around with the half HP, however, in screens. Oz Rhino trying to see if he can spot out anything in heaven. You want to see a world. You want to see these players go together. They need to be able to find this round somehow to keep the dream alive. The Demon, they're just being so passive in their hold. Even missing out on the turret. At least Reloaded does find the headshot on the Ferg. Oz Rhino now needs to try and lead out this charge to get something back. But as I've already mentioned, they're being so slow and methodical in their retake. It's not really working out. And Maple will be there to close it down in the end, which does mean over Power Strike have lost. And Demon take the victory. Technically 2-0, but it is 2-1 if you look at it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, 2-1's 2-1, right? Even though they got the 1 map advantage. But honestly, Demon, they didn't really seem like they cared too much, at least from what we saw before heading into the first map. And honestly, they proved themselves, right? They got 2 very convincing wins overall against these guys, and a bit of revenge, I'd say. Before, it was a bit of a closer endeavor in the seeding matches, but now Demon looking stronger than ever. Honestly, they're looking very good, and honestly, whoever they come up against between Direwolves and Mind Freak, like I would be afraid if I was those 2 teams.
Yeah, well, of course, Direwolves and Mind Freak is going to be the match that we do go on in the next little stint. But as usual, guys, we are going to throw over to about a 5-minute break. It may be a little bit extended. We hope not, because we do have to introduce who the actual players are and all that other spicy goodness in for the next match. So, guys, don't go too far, and we will be back very shortly.
I just time traveled. Today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya. Oh, it's still in the garage. Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you very, very, very much for being patient while we had to sort out a little bit of those issues. But it looks like we are ready and just about to get into the matchup. Of course, my name is Dion Caberta. Joining me is Joseph Quickdraw Basso, and we are going soon into some new maps for the night.
Yeah, and kicking things off, it is going to be on Ascent, which is a lovely little starter. We are actually going to, on Haven, as a matter of fact, which we didn't actually get to see before. So that's going to be fantastic for us to see, Dion. And Ascent will be our second map if we do see the likes of Mind Freak potentially lose out to the Direwolves on Haven, which is actually going to be Direwolves' pick. So I'm kind of interested to see how Haven does go for both these teams.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested as well. You know, we're going to see the Phoenix to be brought out from Yakuza. We're going to even see Elsno bring it out as well. I want to know if we're going to see any wild card picks in the likes of just something so far-fetched that we might not have even seen before that maybe Mindfreak or Direwolves have practiced. You know, it's reminiscent of what EXO did when they went over onto Split and they brought out the Viper for the first time. I love to see little niche picks like that to catch people off guard if they haven't completely brought that out before. But before we get into this one, you know, we've already mentioned that it is going to be into Haven. It is going to be the map pick of the Direwolves. So for Mindfreak, you know, if they are able to catch this one off, then they should be in good stead to maybe try and close out this series 2-0, because if we're looking at things as a whole, I think this one could go the distance. I think we could see the whole BO3 play out.
Yeah, I wouldn't really be surprised if you did actually see the full 3 maps. Like both these teams, as I was saying before, they are extremely close in regards to what they can bring to the table. And on a map like Haven, to kick things off, like it can easily go in both directions depending on how these teams want to play it out. But hopefully we get to see a bit of diversity on the board in regards to the agent picks as well, because we haven't really seen, I guess, any spice come out from either of these teams as of yet.
Yeah, and I don't think that we will, to be honest, see anything too far-fetched. I mean, when it comes to Haven, I guess the forward far-fetched pick is kind of bringing in that Phoenix, hey? You got your Killjoys, you got your Cyphers. Omen usually tends to be on this map. It's not like we're going to be seeing, you know, Order or likewise of who we just saw on Brimstone there from our previous match for Demons. So it should be the Omens to be brought out from these teams if going on the back of the previous history of these guys is anything to go through as well. But once we do look at the overview of Haven, we will be jumping into the game very, very shortly.
Yeah, and on both these teams, Dion, we are seeing something a little bit different as we do head into things very, very shortly. But on the side of Mindfreak, they've got a different Sentinel to the opponent, which is lovely to see. A little bit of diversity coming through from them, but pretty similar picks across the board, to say the least, at the time being.
Alrighty, so the pistol round here, it's Haven, 3 sites, remember, it's a little bit different than the rest of them. I kind of like it at the same time. It's a little bit different from what my personal history is in the previous FPS shooters, but I've been, you know, toiling in this game for a little bit now. But so have these guys, and these are the important ones that we're here to witness, and we are going over to the A site for the pistol.
Yeah, things are going to start kicking off fast and furious. The Cypher trip is going to get tagged out as they are going to start to work their way up. And, you know, the plant is going to start to go down.
Yeah, plant already down. Hot hands for Yakuza. Wants to deploy them over towards his opponents instead of using them to heal up himself. Direwolves already a player down in this pistol round. Mindfreak kind of just getting straight in toward it. Lakers can't quite get anything on the jet dash. Yakuza getting a quick right click out. It's all the agents that are the same getting the kills left, right, and center, and it's all down to Norson, but can't get anything in the end as well. So for Direwolves, they do manage to hold off the site from the retake of Mindfreak and claim the pistol.
Yeah, nice little start for them on the side of the Direwolves, and at least for them, it's a good way to kick things off on their attacking side. And, you know, on their map pick, Dion, it's a nice way. You know, it's kick things off right foot. You know, you're in the positive mindset on your map pick, and for the likes of Mindfreak, it's not really what you would be expecting.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit too early to tell what the lineups are going to be in this one for these guys. I do like that the Sofas are here, of course, coming in towards Haven. You can get all of those spicy lineups that's what we're going to be expecting from these teams. Think about a little spiciness to start things off. Raph elevated a little bit, so he catches off Watt. First opener to go in favor of the Direwolves.
Remaining.
Just going through some technical difficulties, sorry guys, but Direwolves at least managing to pick up the second round so far on Haven Dion, and heading into this third round for Mindfreak, they're looking to try and bounce back into this one, and a bit of confidence at least displaying on the side of Direwolves. It's a nice thing to see to kick things off for them, and you know, the rifle buy coming through is going to start them off in the right direction on the side of Mindfreak.
Take flight.
Yeah, well, the rifle bite is certainly something that you want to see being brought forward and finding victory in when you do get them out, first and foremost. So for Mindfreak, as they do have that, Lou is going to be permitted the ulti orb to grab the blades out, and he's going to give his weapon over towards his teammate as well. A garage push to come through from the Wolves. We're going to overwhelm the forces of just Elsno here. The curve falls out, finds one, which is the spike, the most important thing in this round that Direwolves need to keep contained in their grasp. And Lakers is going to trade it out as well. Lou missing a couple of these blades can get them revitalized if he catches a kill, but he's only got one blade left by my count right now. And as Norson finds Jun what to find Pain, it is all down to the last remaining soldier that I mentioned there in Lou. Does have a Phantom now in his possession. A 1 versus 3, turned 1 versus 2, but remember what I mentioned. The spike is down. Lou has to try and pick that up or find both of the kills first, dodging out the ticks of the Recon Bolt. Will get tagged, or Recon Dart rather, will get tagged by the Bolt from the Owl drone, try to bait out the presence of these Mindfreak players. Both of them have been seen. Shock Dart in towards Lou, and that's going to be the thing to finish him off as well.
Out of charges.
It's a bit unfortunate for them, but Mindfreak, they do bounce back in the right direction with their first round on the board there, Dion. And honestly, as soon as that spike went down in Garage, it just made stuff so much harder for them to try and get back into it. In a 1v2 scenario, yes, it's doable, but you really just got to position yourself right. And he didn't really have any information as to where those players were hiding, and Scroll was just able to finish him off with that Shock Dart. And it's a good start for Mindfreak. They managed to bounce back, and we're still going to see those rifles on the board for both teams.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me right now as well is the fact that Mindfreak have found their first round with these rifles. You know, it was taken down to 2 players in the end, so there is already the pressure and the substance here from the Direwolves to know that they are here for the fight in how to play their attackers' side. Now that they've got the run it back available in Yakuza's possession, they could rely on that for a bunch of opening information, but they're going to use the Recon Dart in towards the B site. That's where you might see Lou and Yakuza try to charge in.
You're dead.
Couple of quick picks to come through from the Wolves, and it does lead Mindfreak bleeding quite dry. Scroll taken down to a very, very low HP. And Wrath, he's already retrieved himself over towards the A site. Revealed on the Bolt as well. They're just sticking through. Scroll's going to be able to deny the plant. No, he's not. He's whipped a big, big, large spray. That is really unfortunate, leading it all into the hands of Wrath, who is, or rather, sorry, Watt, who is flanking around, and Team Ace to come through from the Wolves. Get them the third round on the board.
And the Wolves are looking hungry, Dion. They're biting. They're looking to, you know, hunt down their prey as well. And 3 rounds on the board for themselves is quite a significant start for them. And at least in the early stages, Mindfreak, they're not looking like the best team they possibly can be at the moment. They're back on these pistols with a Stinger on Elsno, and at least on the side of Direwolves, like, they are going to start to build up this money as well, which again, they managed to maintain so many rifles in the early stages where they can continuously just buy through if they do manage to win this next round.
Yeah, well, I would love to see a big old stack come through in a round such as this one, but for Mindfreak, they are just going to be smoking themselves through with a little bit of a play at A to get the ulti orb, and use their Blade Storm to perfection in this round. Pain on the Owl drone does get paranoid out. At least able to spot the close proximity info down through the sewers, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is just these pistols from Mindfreak. If they do pop out those blades, they're going to have to be relying on Lakers to get the job done for them nearly across the whole of this round, because it's grouping up of the Direwolves. Lakers could potentially only do so much with the blades. Hey, if he's able to find all of their headshots, then maybe that is absolutely worth it, but at least there's some sort of a stack. Mindfreak over at this C site. There's the blades. You can see them. Lakers, what are you going to be able to do? Because Watt's going to find the timing to creep back away over to the green boxes. Lou's found Watt. Norson falls. Here's Lakers finally able to find one, but the blades have all been used, and it's all onto Scroll with the flank coming out from the A site, and the shorty is not the greatest weapon to get in towards the scarce site that is C.
Yeah, just another very convincing push, Dion, from them. And poor Scroll stuck to try and do it all, as you were saying. And yeah, as you're saying, like the shorty, you don't want to be seeing it, especially in a retake in a 1v4. It's not the most ideal scenario for him. And Direwolves right now, they're looking like a strong team. They haven't really had many situations where they've had to lose more than maybe 2 or 3 players in most scenarios. And even then, they just look like a strong unit at the moment heading into this.
Yeah, strong unit, a strong team. It is certainly working favors for them and working wonders for them. It's a haven, remember. And on the attacker's side, you know that you can really force your opponents into the spread nature of the map. So for Mindfreak, you know, they are being spread a little bit thin. Haven't really been able to see too much come forward for them at the current time. You know, it's still the early stages. We haven't seen too many rifle rounds. So this one really giving us a good tell of what may be to come. Lakers has got that operator out. Got a couple of ults to be able to utilize for themselves as well. And of those, Scroll already using the Hunter's Fury off the get-go, able to find Jun. I think he's even found another tag to come through. Maybe the last one just narrowly missed. More bullets to go through the smoke over at C-Long. What to reposition up on top of Plat. Shock Dart is going to miss Yakuza as well. Only one player for the Direwolves available with the ultimate right now. That is going to be from the shadows. Probably not going to be utilized now as Lakers finds Yakuza. So this is the things that we were waiting to see from Mindfreak. Executions on the kills. And they pretty much have all been unanswered by the Direwolves. All these long drawn-out fights. Hunter's Fury, the bullets of those rifles, the operator getting its job done. And as we do start to crunching towards B, Omen can smoke out both of those sites, provided they do have them available. There we go. Thank you very much, Crash. 2 dark covers now. The Scroll is here as well.
There they are. Careful now.
Very surprised that they let the ticks come on for that. Norton's going to be able to find Pain, and Wrath was sticking through the hot hands. 4 seconds of damage, and Scroll will clean up the kill. It's flawless for Mindfreak.
Flawless.
They've done well. They've got themselves a second round down, which is what we want to be seeing. And, you know, when you start to build up those rounds, you're going to feel a little bit more confident in yourselves. And Direwolves, they did manage to get the spikes down that round, so that's at least something that is going to fall in their direction. But it's still going to keep their economy at a somewhat decent status for the time being. They're still able to at least maintain that advantage with the rifles. And, you know, even if they lose this, they're going to be able to buy into the next due to that spike plant as well. So they're doing well at managing their economy. And as a unit, they're still pushing through it. Mindfreak, respectively, especially that round alone, that was a very solid hold, having so many players left alive.
Yeah, one of the things that the Wolves can use in this round is that lockdown to try to peek in towards one of these sites. The only way of destruction from the side of Mindfreak would be probably to run it back to come through from Phoenix. You could see Watt technically TP near the lockdown towards the end to try and destroy it, though you'd expect that to be looked after from the Wolves. If Scroll has some nerd darts, maybe he's able to destroy the lockdown. We've seen a lot of those shock dart lineups towards the generic spots of the Killjoy ultimate, so definitely a lot of potential there from Mindfreak. But as you did say, Joe, you know, another purchase in the next round for the Direwolves. If they do lose this one out, they're starting to play it slow and steady, methodically in approach. The Owl drones are going to shake each other's hands, and is going to lead the Direwolves out to gain a little bit of the mid control in the courtyards. Great shots from Scroll through the smoke, tagged on out by the recon darts. El Snow to be able to use the run it back to try and get something done as well. Will be destroyed. No more shields for him. You see that the Direwolves as well still really taking their time to be able to get in towards one of these sites. 4 alive for them. Starting to creep that spike over towards Garage, where Lakers is holding with an operator. Good for one, potentially. Try to dash out if possible. Actually going to find the right timing to do so as well. Repositioning quite nicely. This is almost forcing the Direwolves' hand in this round in itself. They really can't afford to lose anything here to Lakers. The tagging to come through the wall. It's chaos around the server, and it is just down to Jun. No time to get the spike down. No time to get 4 kills. All he needs to do is survive at the closing of the round. Damage done through the wall, and I don't think Scroll has seen him. Jun should be survived.
And another good round coming through from the Mindfreak squad. They're just able to maintain a couple players alive towards the end, and Direwolves left it way too close for comfort towards the end. They're not as much time as they'd hoped to try and get that spike down. And for Mindfreak, slowly trying to bring themselves back into it with a tied scoreline after this one. But as I was saying before, like Direwolves, they can still buy through into this due to that money being saved up. But it is starting to trickle a little bit. You can see it is starting to damage up their economy a little bit more, but Mindfreak, respectively, they're starting to build theirs up to a point where they're going to start having these buys.
Yeah, I want to see a round with full haste to come through from the Direwolves, and it looks like already the surroundings of the A lobby is something that they're going to be doing right now. It really puts a lot of pressure onto Norson on the site of A. Buys loans himself. It does have the camera there with some retake traps available. Scroll can get out those darts as well to try and deny the spike from going down. This camera is in an optimal position. He doesn't technically need to tag anyone with it. And now the info's solidified with Watt getting out that from the shadows info. He's going to be pushing himself up all the way through C long as Lakers has found Jun in mid. That means there's no lockdown to at least help the Direwolves to get in towards this site. Relying on Lou with these blades to get in. Great shot on towards Lakers. Not so great that he's used the second blade after he'd already found the frag. And as the plant does go down, now it is onto the retake for Mindfreak. That camera still available for Norson, I do still believe. Look at the radar. Nope, it's actually being destroyed here. So he's not going to be able to utilize that. That was 45 seconds on the refresh. Everybody for Mindfreak needs to make sure they are hitting out these shots. More blades missed from Lou. Only one left, I think. So on to the Spectre. Mindfreak surely taking their sweet time. Good kills starting to come into fruition though. Payne revealing his hands. And Lou dealt with. It is all on to Payne's Sova. But Elsno gets it done. And the defuse will tie us up 4-4.
Another very nice retake coming through from the side of Mindfreak. But again, the spike going down, allowing Direwolves to at least have something to come out of that round. And Mindfreak on these retakes down, they're looking quite clean with it. They're not losing too many players, and they do decide to go for it. And we did see it in the last series too, when you play that more passive defensive setup and you want to go for those retakes. For the most part, if you have the utility in the late round, you can still make things work for them. And well, at least from what we've seen so far, Mindfreak, they're doing quite well in these retake scenarios against the likes of the Direwolves.
That's one thing that they can be pretty happy in going with as well. You know, they've got the information ability from Norson on that Cypher, from Scroll on the Sova, and at times they can use Watt and the Phoenix. It's actually a really good retake-sided team into it. Watt, however, will hear the outro now over at C. Likewise, it's going to spot him out with the attempted tag. So try and be going in towards the C site. The Hunter's Fury will make sure that Watt can't lurk around the log lane, but he does spot out Wrath with the spike in hand. Trades the bounds around the round. Around we go on the site. Elsno to absolutely punish Yakuza, who attempted to run it back, finds the body as well. June falls, and then Payne stolen away. Elsno on for a big clip. Probably we'll see that in a higher light reel a little bit later. Excuse me. The Mindfreak here, Joe. They now take that lead.
Yeah, just a clean sweep, and Elsno, the key man, as you were saying on the Phoenix, doing a lot of damage towards that C side of the map, and it's a nice thing to finish off with Norson getting the kill on the Cypher as well. But for the Direwolves now, Dion, they need to try and maybe think about what they're trying to do. The full send towards the C site, not really working as you would expect it. Everyone's there ready and locked and loaded to stop that push from coming through, and oh, that's exactly what's just taken place.
I think the biggest thing in that round for the Direwolves is that they didn't really clear the site once they were trying to get in. They got down towards the back plat to try to plant the spike, and they were using their abilities all in the open. They didn't even check their corners. They relied so heavily upon the Hunter's Fury to get damage and get information that they've overlooked the basics of just clearing out their corners. And that's why Elsno just came out with a beautiful, succulent fragging action. A little bit lucky on that the second last one that we saw there as well with the translation. But for this fresh round, the Wolves will have to forget about that. And they'll also have to forget about Jun because he is now down for the count. Everybody's so silent in the server. As soon as that silence comes undone, it goes into the favor of Mindfreak again. Starting to find their footing on this defensive side. Opening up 2 kills unanswered in damage, in fact. Direwolves now lining themselves over towards C. It's a crossfire lineup from Mindfreak. Norson now here with Watt gets one done. So does Norson. Yakuza reveals himself in the end. A 1 versus 3 with 20 seconds. It's possible, but is it plausible right now? Is it going to come into play? The Blaze Wall will come through. 15 seconds. We tick over into the dire times. At least he's able to find Norson. Hot hands down to try and get this plant out, but there's a dart that could potentially be thrown. It is going to be doing so as well. So Yakuza's position's known, and Lakers will get the quick scope into the face for the brilliant damage of the defuse to follow up.
Yeah, again, another really nice retake going through. And once again, Dion, like Direwolves, leaving barely any time left to try and get that spike down. As a result, Yakuza forced into a 1v3. And finding one kill, yes, but the remaining two players really did not have the opportunity to allow him to get into a better position. They just pushed him onwards and just got that kill. And at least on the side of Mindfreak, they're doing really, really well in these retakes. Like, they're just playing it very well as a unit every single time they go for them.
I see a tricky little thing in this new round on the side of Mindfreak. Scroll has purchased up an Odin. Usually you see that gun be brought out on the likes of a Scent, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do on this one. It's going to be absolutely spraying through the garage. Recon Bolt to spot out some information. Lakers now in B. I do like that Mindfreak are changing their strategies time and time again to keep the Wolves guessing, and now it's starting to work a little bit, but that is some unfortunate bland action from Lakers. Good for a kill to start things up, but now opportunity is here for Direwolves. They can even use the lockdown on the site, try to keep Mindfreak at bay. They're just going for these duels in the 2 versus 2 now. It's all on to the last remaining soldier of the Wolf Pack. And I thought the knife was going to come out from what? Not going to lie. And it'll be the headshot. That's another round. Going over to Mindfreak.
Would have been nice to see the knife kill. We haven't really seen any as of yet in this tournament, at least in what my knowledge is just about. But again, Mindfreak, another solid retake. Like, it's just really a bit repetitive in regards to the retake spike plant scenario for the side of Direwolves and for Mindfreak. And heading into this last round, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see it again. Both the teams, they're really just combating each other's play styles. Like, one of them is playing a more passive one, one's more aggressive.
That's 6 rounds in a row the Mindfreak have been able to establish themselves now, so it feels like they just had a little bit of a tricky start that Divers were capitalizing upon when Mindfreak did have the weaker weaponry. But now that they've got their good weaponry in their back pocket, you know, they are still really finding their role, and they're just absolutely letting it go down that hill. And the Direwolves, now it's onto their time in the last rounds to actually use their lockdown, because they haven't even done so yet. Jun's held that for the longest time. So we'll see if they're actually going to do it now. There's no real counters from the side of Mindfreak. Adapting best as they can. 2-player deployments. Jet and Phoenix, as it would be, over towards A for both sides. You got Pain overlooking lobby 2. No one just pulling the trigger on this round. Direwolves waiting for Mindfreak to push on up, which we know that they're not going to be able to because the passive nature from them has been working dividends. Norson, trap over at A, trap over at B, working towards C for himself. All his utility is really just across the whole map. It's very interesting. He'll pop the cages when the Direwolves decide to go in towards this site and call for the retake from his teammates. You mentioned it before, Joe. Their retakes were looking very, very hot. Let's see if they're going to be able to do so again. Scroll lucky enough to escape. Plant to go down now by Jun. Will he drop the lockdown though? It is the last round. You would hope so, to force Mindfreak's hands. When he choose to put the lockdown, however. 4 players to escape over towards long for Direwolves. Just waiting for that time to tick on down. Eventually, there is the lockdown. Is it going to be destroyed though by Scroll? Is there a dart lineup that he has here? Norson's going to help the action of Mindfreak by finding one. Pain is going to actually find Lakers. Eventually, the neural theft comes into play. No one's detained on out. Now trying to get on the defuse. Is it going to be stuck? Is it going to be stuck? Of course it is. It was already half ticked here, Joe, and Mindfreak are going to clean up this half in an 8-4 fashion. That's just why sometimes you can't stick 4 players down through long, because you got 1 smoke and you got no vision.
It's really unlucky, isn't it? Like, you really got to be thinking about those scenarios. Even if you do lose a player or 2 on the site, it's more than likely better to have them there than just everyone towards long. Like, what are you going to do? You smoke yourself off. You've got no dart to try and track out those players, and really just a bit of an amateur mistake, I'd probably say, from the likes of the Direwolves. Like, they've done well so far, but And around like that, they should have been thinking a little bit more firmly about how they wanted to play it through. But a new half comes with new ideals and styles, and at least for the side of the Direwolves, trying to bring it back on the defensive side.
Yeah, well, we've seen glimpses from them at the beginning of this matchup already, so we'll see if they can carry on in a like-minded affair in towards their now defensive side. But Mindfreak, they just want to absolutely put pedal to the metal. They've got fully gassed up. That's a secure. That's so many dinks to come through from Lou, but not a single kill. That is so wild. Mindfreak are just capitalizing on this. Frenzy go brr, but not for Lou, unfortunately. Or Plant, rather, is going on out. Pain missing some shots on the Classic. This is just a chaotic round, but no one has even felt the brutality on the side of Mindfreak. Norsen finally will be the first one to lose their lives in this pistol here. But for Jun, how is he going to be able to lead the mantle going in toward this retake? A Bolt can go in to at least assist him to gather some informational traces here. Elsno is going to find Pain, and Jun is going to get bested by the shorty. Mindfreak will find the pistol and carry on in their round victories from the later stages of that first half.
Yeah, just a very convincing push overall. Straight through garage up. You just kill everyone on the way through and just get the spike down on C. And, you know, a quick pistol is a good pistol in my opinion, especially when you have so many individuals like that just flooding the gates, and not a single player on the side of the Direwolves was able to just combat that. And, you know, in a lot of those fast-paced scenarios, it makes stuff so much harder. And just the amount of rounds that Mindfreak has won in a row at this point, like, it's concerning right now for Direwolves.
Yeah, it's kind of falling in fashion of what we've seen throughout this whole tournament, really. One team ever so dominating with little glimpses of their opponents. We hope to, you know, see some final, maybe overtime maps or some 13 to 10s or something to really throw us in. Because remember, at the end of the day, through this whole open stage of qualifiers, this is our top 8. We're expecting them to be close, and I guess we really haven't seen too much of that just yet.
Shadows traveling.
Everything's quiet over at the seaside. Mindfreak allowed to just walk in. Yakuza is going to be the first to fall as the spike goes down. It's going to be a tricky retake with just these pistols. Deeps aren't covered towards spawn. Makers to spot out Lou in garage. Also in the deep spawn one. Not expecting to catch Jun as well, as Pain finds one. It's going to be the only one in the round for the Wolfpack. As now Mindfreak find double digits. We're going to have a rifle round here, Joe, from Direwolves. If they do drop it, well, they'll only have one more opportunity if Mindfreak find that 12th.
Yeah, and really that round again, Mindfreak just so quick on their feet, getting up to the C site and just managing to get the spike down all the way at the back. And in that type of scenario where the spike's all the way at the back of the site, especially in that spot where you can specifically see a lot of positioning, at least towards long, it makes it a lot harder for the likes of Direwolves to try and retake that site. But heading into the gun round, as you were saying, there needs to be something to come from this Direwolves side.
Well, the running back's going to come through from Elsno, hot off the press. It's going to be destroyed and wrinkled from Lou. Scroll to pick up Yakuza. North's going to find Lou. Remember, this is the lesser weaponry to come through from Mindfreak in this round. They've got a couple of upgrades around the site. Wrath needs to just go in through this dark cover to catch them off guard when they're trying to plant almost. They're going to wait it out, go for the retake, because the timing from Jun could be paramount. They're going to double up from spawn. You can see just where Mindfreak are looking and trying to safeguard the entryways in this site. Scroll was tempting the idea of bringing out some darts, but it would reveal himself still being at the back of sight. That's why the cloud bursts are going down. Doesn't really matter as Scroll is bested. Lakers to follow in pursuit as well, and Elsno can't quite line it up onto Wrath. So finally, the Direwolves managed to gather another round.
It's a good cleanup for them in the post plan as well, Dion. Like, after so many rounds lost, as you're saying, like, it's so nice to see them get around on the board, and it's got to be a confidence boost. That's the main thing for them as well. Like, and Direwolves right now, there needs to be some more consistency from them. It's a new half, a new team that should be brought forward on their defending side, and at least for the time being with these rifles on board, like, they should see potentially a couple of rounds to come through. If they can win this round against the likes of Mindfreak, the money is going to be on a solid position, and for Mindfreak, they could lose a couple more.
Right here.
Yeah, well, all it's going to take is a little slip up from the Direwolves and give Mindfreak the inch they need to close out this matchup. The Pain, they are starting to bring up the Hunter's Fury right off the get-go, and it's not even going to get a single tag out onto anyone on the Mindfreak squad. It only comes out at the cost of an updraft from Lakers, but he's still fine. He's actually used his Tailwind as well, so he'll need 2 kills to refresh that one. Starting to creep up toward the ranks of B. He's going to be overlooked by Jun and Lu. The dark cover is going to buy a little bit of time and anonymity on where Mindfreak are looking to take this round. Lakers could be a very large key for Mindfreak right now, lurking towards the top of B as his team all creep up over to A. Darts to be lined up as well by none other than Scroll. Snow to lead the charge silently as well. You can see the difference between a Cypher and a Killjoy. Cypher's camera could have spotted out a lot of information. The difference, though, a little bit of damage to come out from the Nano Swarm. Waiting to see what Lake is going to be able to do as Pain uses 2 shock darts to get out what from the remainder of this round. At least Spike has gone down for Mindfreak. Lake is now going to utilize his time wisely. An alarm bot's actually being placed in his position, so that's going to catch Lakers off guard on a late flank. More kills to be calculated over to the Direwolves. It's all on a Scroll, a shock dart out. It's a little bit too deep. Remember where the spike is planted. It's next to Hell Under Heaven, and Lakers, is he going to be able to get onto it? I think his position's even been heard. They're looking for it, and Yakuza is going to clean him up. 3 in the round. And Direwolves, it's another one going to their favor.
Yeah, they are starting to build, Xeon, and as you were saying before, like touching on the whole Cypher Killjoy fiasco as well, like I think it matches Direwolves' playstyle a little bit better with the Killjoy. Like they're more of a passive defensive team. They set up at least the bot up towards your A side or even towards B. They set it there and play more of a retake situation, which I would argue is probably a little bit better with the Swarm setup as well, because Mindfreak, respectively with Norsen, he would typically go for those more aggressive camera plays, and it does seem to be working a little bit better for Direwolves on the retake situation, honestly, and that's kind of like what they need, a little bit more consistency on the defense.
Yeah, and one of the things for Norton as well is utilizing those Cypher traps to hold down a flank. We haven't really seen too many flank pushes come through from Direwolves, so Norton's utility can almost be just used on the site takes themselves, which is what he's going to be trying to do right now, as Yakuza's runner back is going to eventually fade on out without being able to find any kill. Only information. Hot hands down in towards window as well. Will keep the Wolves out of it for a little bit longer, so the plant's going to come on down. No shock darts to be able to deny that. It's 5 versus 5 on the retake. This is where things get really sticky. What's going to relocate himself is from the shadows. I think it's even been heard right now, but he still manages to find Pain. It's all red in the kill feed right now, coming out from the Mindfreak crew. It's just down to poor old Yakuza, who can't even get a single thing done. Lakers is going to clean up 3. Flawless for Mindfreak, and they are 1 round away from at least securing overtime.
Yeah, and the full send, at least from the likes of Mindfreak again. Garage, just a very key position for them to split onto C and just managing to get that spike down. And it's been a consistent factor when they play fast up towards that C site, especially through Garage as well. Like, Direwolves are struggling. Like, they really cannot hold that out. I'm not sure what they need to change to really just try and bring that to them and maybe lock it down a little bit better. But Mindfreak are just adapting and making sure they know where the weakness is lying. And for, at least in this scenario, Direwolves' weakness is that Garage position.
Well, you could see a little bit of a counter in that previous round as well, right? Watt's relocation drew away the Sova of the Direwolves, and Pain wasn't able, excuse me, Pain wasn't able to get those shock darts down to try and deny the spike. You could see that they were looking for those, they just never came, so it really did help Mindfreak in that case to just have a lot of control of the site. So they go at it again. In towards Garage this time. Damage being done on towards June. The alarm bot down. A nano swarm used as well to get a little bit of damage out, but it doesn't really get anything even done over towards Mindfreak. Only Norsen is really bleeding in this one. He's going to cage himself as well, just to make sure they're not getting pressured right now in through mid. Lou overarching in towards long with the operator. Nothing too untoward. Mindfreak, 40 seconds to play for in the round. You can see that Direwolves, they're really starting to just get hot under the collar and where this round is going to turn out. Alsno has managed to find Jun. Now the neural theft is going to reveal Yakuza. He's pulled out utility at the wrong time as Alsno just pushes him into the graveyard. Spike plant to go down. Payne is here, but he has no shock dust to be able to deny the spike as well. They're going to have to go in with all these rifles. I'd like to see a paranoia try and go through to blind anyone off. It's all of these 3 players of the Direwolves mounting their assault from the spawn location. What's good for one? Lou trades it out. You got a lurk happening as well. Elsno through the smoke. Lou's even expecting it. He sees the gun through the smoke on toward the defuse. They faked it out first. Lou catching headshots. They're ticking away. It's a 1 versus 1 now as he loses his life. The Hunter's Fury's going to actually come out. Scroll, he's so vulnerable, could get pushed. The second one, Rat, he's minding, maybe catches timing. He does. Spike's half ticked as well. And that's a defuse. That's a round for Direwolves.
Come down to the wire there on the retake down, but Direwolves just enabling themselves to retake it in a heartbeat. And Mindfreak again, C does seem to be the hotspot. Like, they keep going there and they're getting these plants down, which, you know, if it's working, right? There's no reason you could try and change it, but it does seem like the Direwolves are adapting to the point where they know that where they're going to be going is...
Lakers has been able to sleuth his way in towards a deep spot on the A site. They know that the turret's there and they've smoked it off as well. This is brilliant detective work to come through from Mindfreak. It's allowing Lakers so far up in the creepings, but Wrath, I mean, they've heard the smoke deploy on the site, so now that they know where it is, they are able to find him.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Run it back to be used for Mindfreak. Player deficit. Norson going to catch off Jun. As Spike looks to go over to the seaside. It's all free reign for Mindfreak to get the plant. The Hunter's Fury is going to be used over towards default as well, forcing Watt to reposition himself. Get back in towards the plant.
3 out of 5.
Norson catching 3 in the round. No idea right now where Payne and Lou are looking to mount this aggression onto the C site from. It's going to be over towards defender spawn. The great use of the recon bolt to catch that information on the players on the site, but they've only got so little time to get in towards the spike. It's still 4 players, remember, alive right now, Joe, and it's a 1-on-1 trade, really favoring Mindfreak. They're going to be gathering their 12th round on the back of this one. Norson's even hearing the footsteps of Lou to try and catch a 4K in the round. Lou just wants to keep it up, and you can't, unfortunately. Scrawl's even going to steal it away in the end. That is, as I said, the 12th for Mindfreak.
It's a bit of an unfortunate situation to be on for them, and for Mindfreak now a match point, 12-7. That's what we want to be seeing from them in a very consistent factor, at least on the attacking side for them. And for Direwolves over on that defensive side, there has to be some form of a change to come through to, you know, continuously work through this and try to get themselves to a tight scoreline and bring it into overtime.
Again, Joe. Straight in towards the seaside for Mindfreak. The Direwolves forced to go in for a retake. At least they do have that lockdown to be able to do something. It does go down, but the plant not even going into that ground for Mindfreak. They don't have to stay at this site. They've completely baited out the Direwolves. The full rotation to C. They had to gamble it out. At least Lou had pushed up through A to catch 1. But it's only 1 and done. Trades out. You got a TP available for the Wolves. At least they're able to push up. But if they overlook Lakers right now, it could be absolutely unfortunate. Jun, he's cleared the corner, but not the whole corner. And again, Mindfreak, they are in the driver's seat, revving their engine in towards map number 1 victory. Norton lurking through Garage. There's that TP to catch some information for Wrath. Shock darts as well to clear out some information. Dart destroyed. Blaze ball up. In Garage, dual one by Norton. Having a stellar performance, I might add. Elsnow's going to close it on through. And there you have it, Joe. Mindfreak, they're going to win this map 13-7.
The clean sweep, Dion. Like, we can really just say that in regards to how they played their attacking side. Like, what more was it? Let's rush C. That's quite literally the name of the game that Mindfreak was playing, and it worked. Like, that's the simplest way of putting it. Every single time, they just kept peppering it, and there was no defense to really prevent that from happening.
Yeah, well, no defense to keep that from happening. To surmise that a little bit in the end there, you know, Direwolves were almost giving up a site completely every single time and trying to mount in for their retake, but it weren't really structured and formalized for it too hard. So at the end of the day, you know, when it does go back over in towards Mindfreak's dead, you know, they're catching the kills. Direwolves are getting caught out on their rotates and their flanks. As I said, it looked really good in the beginning, but at the end of that, with Mindfreak finding map number 1, they're going to be going up into map number 2 with a little bit of a leg up. And, you know, at the end of the day, we didn't really see too much from, you know, Wrath in that one to point out a specific member of the Direwolves. Everyone else was trying to do what they could. I think that during this little intermission break that we'll have right now, it's going to be one of those things where they go back to the drawing board and see what they're going to be able to bring back into it.
Yeah, it's probably the right call, honestly. They need to just sit down and have a chat before they head into the next game, because especially after seeing how many times Mindfreak was able to adapt and just push forward to that site, like, they're really just got to consider what they're going to be doing next map, because they can't be allowing such a massive opening in their defense like that.
Well, guys, as usual, we'll be going over into a short little intermission break for about 5 minutes to just change over everything that we need to get the players, you know, their little rest that they need as well. Maybe a little bit more onto the side of Direwolves, but when we be back, we will be getting into the next map. So don't go too far.
I just time traveled. Ah, today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Valorant Oceania Tour for 2021. We are, I guess, looking at the tail end of the broadcast for tonight, as we've just seen map number 1 conclude for our second BO3 of the night. For those of you that may have just joined us, or if you want a refresher on who we are, we're not Melbourne and Adelaide, and there's a little running joke that had been seen before. We are Dion Komodo Prada and Joseph Quickdraw Basso. And Joe, map number 1 is now done and dusted.
Yeah, it was a good thing. It was a very quick game, if I'm going to be honest. Despite the scoreline, it did seem a little bit quick for my liking, but Haven is long gone. Mindfreak really showing up on Direwolves map pick as well, which is a bit of a surprise, but heading into our next map, which is actually going to be Ascent, that should be rather interesting to see from both these teams being the pick of Mindfreak.
Yep, so of course going into Ascent, Mindfreak, they did have the big old lead in the beginning, or in the midway of that first map, I might rather say. And one thing that we have to point out is just their veracity and how they tackled that map, right? A lot of the time they were just given free reign of those sites and they were able to just completely take control. Haven can be a fickle thing because there are a lot of the map or a lot of the sites that you can go and plant that spike over towards as well. So probably won't be seeing that come in towards Ascent here as our new map. And as we do start to get in toward the Agent Select, that does mean that we are ready soon to get in towards this map, Joe.
The rock and roll. Ascent, one of the key maps in the pool. Everyone loves a little bit of it. Some may love, some may hate, but it is a map that does bring some basics to the table for both these teams. And if there is a map that might deliver a closer scoreline, it might even be this one.
Yeah, well, of course, Ascent, and we are expecting, I guess, in the big old history, to see the killjoys from these teams and maybe even those Rainers to be brought on back. It's going to be one thing that I'm going to be very interested toward bringing in toward the Agent selection right now. I actually believe we have a mirror match to be seen, so definitely things to be tackled in this game. You want to put any prediction on it before we get started, though? Do you think it's going to be Mind Freak, or do you think it's going to be Direwolves?
It's really hard to judge. Going by last map, Mindfreak should have the edge, but honestly, I think Direwolves are just wanting to bite back this map, quite frankly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see them take us to map 3.
Well, it does look like we've got a little bit of game sound issues right now, so we'll bring that up after the pistol round. For right now, seen a little bit of the action already being brought forward. So for Yakuza to find Elsno, the plant will start to go down from the side of Mind Freak. So try to get in toward the site. There is the Recon Bolt available. The Shock Zard is not going to be able to finish off Watt for the current time. Bringing it on back. Yakuza try to get something up through lane. Will be good for one. It's down to Watt with the Frenzy, but can't quite get it. In the end, Yakuza is going to pick up the 3K, and Direwolves are going to get the defuse. So we will just quickly bring it back onto us to get that audio right and back into it. To apologize for this one real quick. It's just a quick little issue to solve, but Direwolves pick up that pistol round. I mean, they will definitely be happy about that one there. So kind of following a pursuit from map number 1 here, Joe, you know, they were able to find that pistol and get a little bit of an inch up onto Mind Freak. So we'll see if that's going to be able to continue on now.
Hopefully so, Dion. I think the sound might be back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yep, we're all good.
Powers out.
Shot down.
Couple of kills to be brought in forward already. Iron Freak again, looking to try and get that plant on down. It's going to be at the B site. Yakuza, however, still frolicking around in the server. And as that plant does go on down, he's going to be looking to charge out from the defender spawn. A good shot dart to tickle away at his HP. Wraps to find the counterpart Omen, but trades abound. It is the 1 versus 2 favoring the Wolves. And they should be knowing in where Brawl is as well. They find him, and that's another defuse to come through from the Direwolves.
The exact same start we did actually see over on Haven from the Direwolves as well. So it's a nice little kickstarter for them, at least on their journey to try and get to map 3. And for Mind Freak, you know, another spike plant. Not a major concern for them, but it was a nice little send straight through. And with that spike going down, it's going to lead to a little bit more money for them. And hopefully Mind Freak can potentially bounce back around number 3 here down.
Yeah, well, now around number 3. Does mean that, you know, with the force up from Mind Freak in the previous, there's no rifles for them as well. So by all means, it should be the smooth sailing from the Direwolves. But do not count Mind Freak out, because we saw what they were capable of on map number 1. The Marshal is going to reveal itself from Lakers' hands. Lou to reposition in bottom mid. Just these pistols looking for some of the big damage. Lou trying to take the duel. You can win it on out. They don't line up for him. It's only through the X-ray that it looks like it. Lou will dismiss, though, of Lakers for the current time being in this round. It's interesting, the stark difference if we bring up this, you know, composition from these teams as opposed to wildcard, you know. I almost like wildcards a little bit better than this mirror match.
Revealing area.
Still in sight. 30 seconds left. One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Jeez, that's a clean sweep. Direwolves really just putting them in their place there with those SMGs. They're not even surprised they kept the whole squad alive there.
Placing alarm bot. Placing swarm grenade. Placing
You know, it's
swarm
off to the good start for the Direwolves here.
Placing sentry.
Just the sort of anti-eco from Mindfreak, seeing if they could get anything done with the pistols. Seeing if they could find something with the Sheriff, you know, the Marshal as well. But for now, they'll put those 3 rounds behind them as they get into the big one with their rifles. Lou's going to be here to try and contain it. We can't quite find the first opener. Yakuza has been able to sleuth his way into Wine. I even think that might be overlooked by the side of Mindfreak because they themselves got in here so quickly. The perfect paranoia comes through as well. And Yakuza's just mopping them up. Although, as I say that, Pay is kind of stealing them away. Elsno can't even get anything contributed either for the side of Mindfreak. And that means Direwolves will find their 4th round on the board.
Yeah, pretty consistent at least at the moment. Like, they're really just cleaning up every single push that Mindfreak does go for. And, like, the fast play style would have worked before, but now it seems like the Direwolves have kind of caught on to things a little bit more.
Yeah, Jun having a slow start, considering that all the Direwolves do have the rounds attributed. Scroll, you could say likewise right now, but for another purchase of sorts to come through from Mindfreak, just the pistols. We'll see what they're going to be able to contribute on in and find themselves. Lou is just going to narrowly miss out the seeings on towards Elsno in mid. Get pressured back as well. Wrath. The dispatch of Elsno as the opener. Does certainly seem that the starting of the maps is where Mindfreak do struggle. We'll see if they can bring themselves back into it. Yakuza to get tagged up by the Aldrone. Norson is going to find the kill. And Raph now, already known to be lurking around the garden position, is going to start to get taken down relatively low as well. Likewise, though, Mindfreak, they have 2 players very low for themselves that they could be taken out. Trying to get the plant down now. Payne is going to find Scrawl with the Hunter's Fury. Blades out from Lou. Will find Lakers and get more blades back, but it's going to be Norson. Catch him in the end and attempt to do something with the 30 points of hit that he has on his body available. You see the Direwolves, though, still being ever so patient to know that this round could be plausible from Norson, but they will hold true in their lines and they will find him in the end.
Yeah, another very solid round from the Direwolves, and they just seem confident, to be honest. A different team to what we did actually see over on Haven, and it's a good thing. Direwolves, they looked a little bit sluggish towards the end of the last map, and they've decided to regroup, have a bit of a chat, and now they come back on Haven, and Ascent, and just really showed us what they're worth. And for Mindfreak, they look like a bit of a different team, if I got to be honest. Like, it's not as much of a spark, you could probably say, as what we did see on Haven from them.
Get out of my way.
You know, there's 5 ultimates available for Mindfreak right now, so hopefully that is going to be something to light the fuse for them and really get them activated in towards this matchup. There's a big slant for the Direwolves over towards that B site, leading Wrath to just lurk over at A by his lonesome himself. Mid of bottom to be controlled from Mindfreak, deploying a couple of their dark covers as well, just to push themselves through. You already hear that Lakers has brought out those blades, so eventually Mindfreak are going to position and poise themselves over towards one of these sites. Though for Norson, he's still kind of lurking around this or the B site rather. Going to put the turret down. It's going to spot out Lou. Going to take a couple of those turret shots, eventually getting on out. But the spike to be retrieved from Mindfreak now. It looks like they are going to go in for this B split. A duel in towards Garden, though. Lakers pushing on forwards as Yakuza manages to find one in mid. Jun is also going to find what? Finally, Lakers actually comes up into the server. Deep little right click to dispatch of Jun. Norson now finding Raph. Things are working for Mindfreak as it's all down to the last remaining soldier of the Wolves. And he's even been seen, heard going over towards CT. Lakers just holding very, very close in towards Market. See if he can find the little clip here with the 4K, but Lou is going to find him in at the end. And a 1 versus 2. Hey, it is so plausible for Lou to be able to find Nano Swarm, though. Going to be put on towards the spike. There's 2 shock darts for Scroll and the recon bolt. So there's definitely a way that they get into this. Now that Lou's been seen by that turret, smoked on through, he will have to try and destroy it. He does not know exactly where the Mindfreak players are sitting at the current time. Now no more Cloudburst as well. He has to try and destroy the Nanoswarm that is on the spike. He'll hear it and find it. The turret, though, that he didn't destroy before is going to force the Mindfreak players to peek him. He finds one. But Norson, taken down low. I thought Lou could have done it there. Damage was dealt, but Mindfreak getting out of the round.
It is one going that direction, Dion, and in a round like that, it made stuff so much harder for them in that situation. And very early stages in that round, there was a couple of promising picks that come through, and honestly, like, those singular knife kills that came through from Lakers, like, he just entered the server at that point. Really clean, crisp headshots on 3 players, unfortunately falling to the 4th, but he just opened that round up completely for his team.
Yeah, Mindfreak, they'll need to do it again because they need to get themselves the tricklings on this attacker's side now that they've got themselves another purchase. You know, they're going to have to try and topple over the Direwolves, who have just been, I guess, very well placed in how they're playing out these rounds and finding themselves changing up to acclimatize to the different situation. Couple of tags that Lou's able to escape from. They are very ambitious to take the fight again, but Yakuza, his position will be seen as he makes work of the Owl drone. Lakers pressing the issue. We'll find the opening frag. You'd like to see Mindfreak settle down here and go together towards one of the sites, because you see where the spike is, and still technically outside B. Not in their control. Not in their hands. It's in their control. But they'll still press forward and try to gain domain, potentially over at B at this point. Don't even think Lakers were seen by the drone, so that is definitely his key to go in towards this garden area. He could even find a position onto Lou if he could jump up, and while the glass is being broken, I don't think it is. He's going to waltz his way all the way into spawn and be able to find the freest kill in the server onto Pain. But will he be expecting Lou to still be up on the rafters? He will not. Lou gets the trade out from the shadows from Mindfreak gets seen as well. What is going to have to recall that one himself as the Mindfreak squad do start to come over in toward the A site. The dart actually lands up on top of the box at Heaven, so he technically didn't need to smoke it, I think. I was mistaken in that factor, but I digress. Despite looking to be planted, Lou missing a shot, a second shot, and it'll be to his death and demise. It's all down to Jun. 2 seconds on the turret, but a 1 versus 4 is what he's going to be promised to find. And it's going to be a very tall task to ask indeed. He'll be spotted out by the turret down at main. Now all the Mindfreak know where he is. It's going to be El Snow to catch a bullet into the face for Jun there and find him in the end for Mindfreak's second round.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there on the side of Direwolves with Lou. Like, he was in a prime position to try and make something happen, especially, like, I don't even know how they let Lakers walk through. Like, he got straight up through tree, all the way around to their spawn, just getting a free pick, and that was the call for them to go towards the ace site. And when you have such a big opening in the defense, especially up towards a position like that, that just opens up the entire map, because as soon as you get behind your opponents, it just causes strife.
It's one of those gambles.
Do not know where they are.
It's one of those gambles that they overlook the corner at short there from the Owl drone, and Lakers sees that the Owl drone doesn't spot him, so he just waltz in, and that comes down to experience, you know, knowing that Direwolves are going to rotate themselves over towards B on that misinformation of the drones. So it works wonders for Mindfreak there, not so much for Direwolves. And now into the new round, the lockdown is down that they cannot destroy. They could have tried to send in a couple of shock darts, but you know that it's over. And Pain wasn't over here. Finally, the recon dart is going to spot out some info as Jun manages to find Lakers. The remainder of the Mindfreak crew are on the B site, except for the little lurk in Norson, coming over very, very late in mid. Going to be looked after by the alarm bot as well, so his location is now being seen. That counter lockdown is what dispatches of Jun. It's all down to Norson. Try and get something in a 1 versus 4. Finds one. The Pain trades.
Again, a really unfortunate round for Mindfreak. They do all the right things. They get the spike down. They try and make it happen for themselves with the ults, but much more than that, Dion, there really wasn't much more else going in their favor. These picks that were coming through from the side of the Direwolves, they just made it clean all the way up until they got the retake on the site.
Little scoreboard check. Scroll having a very unfortunate series of map 2 Ascent. Yet to have a big impact, bar the assists on the darts and the damage of the bullets. So hopefully things can shine up for him again, though. Wrath, the omen of Direwolves, still a little bit slow to get things started, but hopefully it's able to back them up. For now, Mind Freak. They'd found 2 rounds, Joe.
There.
I will stall back 1. But look at the domain that Direwolves are letting them have, you know, up through towards mid, full control essentially. The passive holds from Lou on that jet. Wrath's pushed up through towards short. He's in the dark cover to refresh this one, but he's even been seen. How is he able to find the kill onto Alsno? Even more damage onto Lakers this time. Very lucky to be able to escape on that one. I think maybe the dark cover's blossoming circle, or sphere rather, got the better of him, but I digress. It's player advantage for Direwolves as Mind Freak get in toward the site of A. Scroll finds Yakuza. He's on the board. You cast a curse him through, and as Wrath finds Norson, makes things a bit tricky now for Mind Freak. Paranoia in. Scroll able to find Jun, however. Watt looking over towards the creep out through that dark cover, and as Pain peppers Watt through the box, lead into this 1 versus 1, the battle of the Sovers. That Scroll wins. Definitely needed to see something from him, as I mentioned in the pre-phase of the round, and he has done so for us.
It's a good thing to see he's finally off those 0 kills as well, which is lovely. He had a bit of a slow start, but he seems to be trying to pick it up the best he can. And as you're saying, like, it is a good time to pick up the pace, especially when you're down by a bit of a, not a massive, I guess, scoreline, but it's more so just you need to start getting those consistent rounds on the board. Otherwise, you know, Direwolves are looking quite confident, to say the least, on this defense, and it could spell some troubles for the side of Mind Freak continuing forward.
And the Bladestorm's going to be brought out from both of the team's jets right now. Lakers is going to force his hand up through short as Lou managed to find Scroll. Wrath, his head on the chopping block. It gets cut down to size, and Lakers is going to lead the charge in towards A. That could potentially even just be a little bit of a fake for his team to sneak into B, though that would be a struggle for them, as you've got the Killjoy all set up to hold down the fort at that site. Though, the alarm bot that Norson had placed will get the better of the Killjoy forces of Jun for Direwolves. So, as that rotation comes over to A, it's going to be the retake attempt from the Direwolves. Lakers has managed to sneak up in towards the Hell location, just to clear that on through, Heaven being dirty. Spike eventually looks to be planted. What's available with the smoke to go over towards door again. Yakuza could spell a little bit of shenanigans. Spike down. Be allowed to do so fully. On his Fury. Only going to team damage Yakuza a little bit as he finds Norson, the overheal to come through as well. Lou's going to find Elsno. Now really disconnected in their holding play for Mind Freak. Lakers, he find Yakuza. The spike is going to be ticked halfway. Blades out. They work for Lakers. Watt finds one as well, but the defuse, it won't be stuck all the way. They're somehow bringing it back right now. Joe, it's all into Jun at the back of the site, and Lakers finds the 4K. Really a statement to be found for Mind Freak now. A needed occurrence, a needed outcome. Mind Freak. 4 rounds, looking for more.
That's massive. That's absolutely huge. Lakers again, like, he is such a pivotal player on those 9s. Like, that's the second time he's gone huge with those as well. So he seems to have some pretty crisp aim, to be honest, Neon. He's one of those individuals on the jet who really does hit his shots very frequently. And honestly, like, a massive round like that, that's what you want to be seeing from Mind Freak. And as a result, Direwolves now just onto the Sheriffs, which could provide Mind Freak with a little bit of leeway heading into this round.
Leeway is certainly something that they've been needing, because we've got more substance from the Wolfpack in this map right now as opposed to Mind Freak. We've started to gather some things from them. Right now they've gathered control over at A, where Watt has managed to grab that ultimate orb and be finding from the shadows. Remember, it is just this sort of half-biter come through from Direwolves. Haven't really seen them have this sort of purchase too hard on Ascent so far.
I have the spike.
So a welcome change for Mind Freak, not so much for Direwolves. Jun would certainly find a headshot or two if Mind Freak do aim to do so. At least coming over into this site, he could buy some time. I would have said in a previous round, because he doesn't have nano swarms at the moment, but Elsno, a little bit ambitious to chuck out that lead. Norson to cover. He will be allowed to get in toward the site in the 5 versus 3 to get the plant. And that door being shut as well will force all of the Direwolves at bay for the current time. Force them even to relocate over towards spawn, potentially.
Cover going out.
Paranoia through. Elsno finds Lou. Damage from Norson at CT. And he finds both of them for a 4K. You back it up. We find one from Lakers. Now we find one from Norson.
Last round before
Joe, I
the
ask you,
switch.
who's next for the last round of this half?
Yeah, I mean, it would be lovely if Mindfreak could tie things up, if we're going to be honest. Like, they've managed to get 3 straight in a row. A fourth would definitely cap it all off for at least their attacking side. And, like, for Direwolves, they had such a solid start, but it's just all gone so wrong so quickly as well. Like, especially with this consistent amount of rounds that Mindfreak has managed to build up for themselves. And, you know, last round, a little bit of a freebie, to be honest, for Mindfreak. Like, the Sheriffs, they can do damage, as we did see from yesterday's games, but anything more than that, a little bit more of a stretch.
Yeah, potentially a little bit more of a stretch. Not a stretch of the imagination right now of what's going to be the play of the game. Potentially. Not really. Play of the half. Maybe. We'll wait and see. We've seen some pretty crispy plays for both of the sides. But for right now, it's all a fake over at the B site with the lockdown. And look how much it's drawn the Direwolves over to B. It's just Lou and Yakuza over at A. Look at this. They're getting the job done. They have found the spike. It's not even a ruse anymore from Mindfreak because it's just been underpinned by 2 of the Wolves. And whilst Lawson tries his due diligence to get something happening for Mindfreak, he'll be able to go good for 1. Now it is on the back of Scroll. Try to bring something back for Mindfreak. A 1 versus 3. You've got From the Shadows still available. You've got the Empress as well. They line up for Scroll. But Yakuza finds the 3K. And that is going to be the half going in favor of the Direwolves. But only by 2 rounds. It is very, very close.
Yeah, definitely a close half overall. And honestly, for Mindfreak, I wouldn't be too disappointed with that. Like, you managed to at least get 5 on the board after quite a bad start, to be honest with you. And even for Scroll having a bit of a rough game, he still managed to pick up a couple kills and even assist his teammates in getting a couple picks towards the Direwolves side. And hopefully, heading into this defensive side, we do get to see a little bit more from them because, at least as it stands at the moment, like, the setups are literally a mimic of each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see quite a similar variety of strategies coming through from this team as well on the defense.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for maybe Mindfreak is to just find their footing on this defensive side as early as possible to try to steal away this series as a 2-0 because they had a damaging effect on the Direwolves, you know, when they were over on a previous map of Ascent. You know, the Wolves weren't really able to find anything as opposed to their first beginnings of the map and then a little trickling towards the later stages. But for Mindfreak, you know, they've had a more paced battle in this one right now and it's really gotten to them. So this pistol, they'll definitely try to find it on through and they are getting absolutely pushed into the floor as well. Plant to go down, a player advantage for Direwolves. Flanks to be trying to be found from Mindfreak. Jun holding off through short. We've got 1 player in main as well. That's going to be the Sova. Blue's going to be peppered down at 25 HP with this frenzy. Everybody bringing out the frenzies, the ghosts and the classics. It's an assortment of pistols right now as Payne finds Elsno. Norton is going to see Jun and finds him. Scroll loses the duel and this round is certainly shaping up to be Direwolves. 73 HP for Norton. Going to outlast the darts. Let's get seen, gets heard, finds some bodies. There's 1. Can he get the second? There's no time for the defuse in the end, as they even go for another reload. He gets a couple of dinks. The dice only rolls on 1. They're going to fall with the spike as well. For Payne, it probably would have been better to fall with the spike, not going to lie. But, hey.
Yeah, probably
one.
better for the economy down. Yeah, it's overall it's easily going to be better for you to die with your, you know, you want a little bit of extra cash in the tank, but for Mindfreak that round, it just was a bit of an ugly hold, if we're going to be honest, towards A, especially, you know, on the retake, they just kept getting picked off 1 by 1, and eventually down to Norson stuck in a 1v3. Like, you really cannot expect much more from a player on the pistol round, especially low on HP as he was.
Gonna be keeping my eyes peeled right now and very keen eye for Mindfreak on how they're going to play this one. For Direwolves, though, it is their best position to gain this one. Maybe cop a little bit of a struggle in the next one. We know Mindfreak are going to have that next purchase, but hey, if they're able to find that next round on their bonus one, they might be able to send us into that final map and really give us a BO3 that we've been waiting for, because we haven't had a 3rd map, technically. I say technically, for those that have missed out on it. Our first series was technical 2-1, but we only saw 2 maps do a forfeit. And now, over at A, Direwolves see nobody. what's going to be lurking out in wine. He's going to be drunk with the shorty, and now he's going to be dead with the shorty, swimming with the fishies. Mindfreak onto the retake. They're going to flood themselves out of the B site. Jun going to lurk around mid, see if he can catch any eco franks right now, which he will be able to do so on to Lakers. Armor bot revealed a little bit of positions as well, but they both run out of bullets. He's going to have to cop a little bit of a reload. Yakuza now going to assist Jun, dealing away a frag. We're going to also find Scroll. You do then have Snow to be the last remaining player on Mindfreak if this kill is found by Yakuza, which it is. But what is Snow going to be able to do? Lurking towards the defender spawn with a shorty. And he'll have to fall with the spike here. Or to an opponent.
You hear that combination of a player with a shorty and you don't really think of much, and it's a little bit unfortunate as Lou finds the pick, but really Direwolves are starting to turn up a little bit more on this attacking side, honestly, Dion, and you know, the consistent rounds starting to build up for them, but heading into this third round, second half, this is where that buy is going to come through. A very typical standard buy. If you do end up saving through, that's where you're going to have the most beneficial impact, at least on the game. And for a team like Mindfreak at the moment, this gun round needs to be, you know, the point where you start to swing it back in your direction. Otherwise, you know, Direwolves, they could easily just take this away themselves.
Definitely the turning point. Scroll's dart could find all of the information onto the Wolves as well. They know they've got the lesser weaponry, so straight shooting in towards the ranks of the B site. Snow is even going to be darted down to 60 HP. It's a couple of trades coming on forward. It's favoring Direwolves right now. Scroll's feeling the pressure on the back of the B site. Split between two opponents, and he will be falling. Though what? Links assist in the play for Mindfreak. Yakuza's already stuck in a CT, and they are none the wiser. It's a bonus round that Direwolves welcome into their fold, and it's 10 for them.
Just a very quick and speedy round overall, and if you're Mindfreak, you're going to be very annoyed at that. Like, your third round, you get that buy through, and it's just wasted in a heartbeat, because that fast-paced push that we've just seen, it was just crisp. Like, there was not a single player that really was able to contest them other than Scroll on the back of the side, but he hasn't really been the player to really just pop off a Mindfreak as of yet, and this late in the game, these bottom players need to start turning up a little bit more for their team.
Well, you're going to have that one-way smoke actually miss itself over onto the a ledge there outside main. At least I guess it affords them the free ultimate orb, so we'll see what Lakers is going to be able to do with that later. For now, Lou is going to find what, and I mean, it's just these pistols for Mindfreak. Do you expect anything massive to happen? You would hope so. But Wrath has found Lakers. They've also found the open A site. Door starting to close. Scroll is going to have his head removed, and the little lurks that you'll see for the remainder of Mindfreak are going to be punished. Now it's just down to Snow with the Bucky. Hope and dream, a little bit of a prayer. Hope for a shooting star right now. Make a wish for Mindfreak to have a massive comeback to take 2-0. Otherwise, we go into the third map. And hey, Joe, I'm welcoming that third map.
I mean, I'd be happy, honestly. It'd be nice to see a third map in this series, but Snow, respectively, he's a fan of the shotgun. At least from what we've seen so far. He loves buying them, but this round, it's all but done.
So it's going to be back on the purchase here for Mindfreak
very
now
rough
on those little bonuses. Direwolves, one round away from this map point.
It's a little bit rough for them at the moment, Dion. We need to see something a little bit different from Mindfreak, I reckon, because it's just been a bit too simple, if I'm going to be honest from them. They just pick a site, try to go to it, and Direwolves is just really always there to just combat that.
Get out of my way!
Opportune moment for Mindfreak to try and finish out and find this round, rather. But Snow with a couple of shots, and June's going to find the trade. Lake is good for one onto Wrath. What in a position that might not be expected, but as he peeks out, and he'll catch the headshot on towards Lou. Blade Storm now no longer available on the side of the Direwolves. So they've finally met a little bit of their match in this mirror-played game. Payne, though, with the shock dart to try to find what. It's going to miss its mark. So is Lakers with the operator. The dart didn't even miss. What? He got tagged out by it. Now he's going to be finally finished by Payne. Lakers to get that trade. The Jim's location hasn't been seen. Immediate execution onto Lakers. Spike is down. We'll have to trickle back to find it. Look after the cross angles of it as well. Mindfreak, they're going to be placing themselves in the double retake. Shock dart down. A little bit preemptive as the spike hasn't even looked to be planted yet. Jun, right idea to bait them out, but Scroll gets the kill. That's going to be Mindfreak securing the round.
He did pretty well for himself trying to get him back into that on the side of Jun, but Mindfreak, it's a start. They've managed to get that one round on the board. Hopefully some more rounds to come, because one round is going to mean match point for the Direwolves, and it's going to be a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Mindfreak to bring this back. But quite frankly, like, these players are starting to turn up a little bit more. We're seeing them show their prowess a little bit more as well with these kills and the trades coming through.
So for Mindfreak, a couple of these ults to play with again. Lakers has already pushed up through short to be able to find some early information, but for Direwolves, they're just going to be pushing themselves deep for a little bit of a aggressive market split, like lured out through B if they want to, but they've got so many routes that they could really just navigate around and force Mindfreak into submission. This being one of them. Scroll needs to be extremely impactful here for Mindfreak. You've got that turret already overlooking short for a little bit of that information. Mindfreak have just gifted control of market over towards Direwolves. They don't even have anybody at CT, or defender spawn rather, only Norson at the back of B, because Scroll's just looking after mid. This is a really big lean over towards the A site for Mindfreak. The Direwolves are just going to find the right execution to just completely
30 seconds left.
just belittle Mindfreak into submission. Lou's already found Norson, and Mindfreak, you have to consider a save here almost. Not a single kill to be seen from Direwolves whatsoever. The turret again is finding information just to where one of the players in Scroll is going to be lurking for Mindfreak. Elsno, he does have an Empress available. We've already seen one be utilized in this round. I'd mentioned that save. Would have liked to see it earlier from Mindfreak, because they don't have the greatest money going behind them towards this next round, which is inevitably the last round of the half, or the match could be if Direwolves do claim it. Elsno is only good for one on the escape, so the weapons that they would love to have in their possession into toward the next round, they're not even going to be afforded to carry on over. Scroll, I mean, he'll have the Hunter's Fury, he'll have the rifle. You couple that with the Blade Storm available, you've got a Lockdown and an Empress. You're going to have to throw everything at this round if you're on Mindfreak. And maybe even a slip up from Direwolves, because they've been playing pretty well so far on this map.
Yeah, the simplest way of putting it is Mindfreak needs a miracle. That it sounds really bad, but that's the simplest way of putting it, honestly. Like, Direwolves have just been so pivotal on this attack to the point where Mindfreak is just giving up positions for them to take, especially through market that round down. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, to start off, for Mindfreak, that's not what you want the first duel to be. You don't want to see your team having a player lose their life, especially one that is your Jet. What is also going to fall? Jun finds Norson.
Yeah.
It is just crumbling for Mindfreak. It's going to be the same two players that were lurking alive in the last round.
Wow.
As Lou finds Scroll, it's all on to Elsno. Will eventually upgrade his weapon as the Empress has been popped. If you Direwolves, don't give him an opportunity. Don't give him the fight. He's been seen right now. The Empress, he'll be able to overheal. He'll be able to dismiss if he finds it, but they're not even going to allow him to do that. Lou with the 4K. And that is a good victory for Direwolves. That does mean, Joe, that we will be going into map number 3 between the Direwolves and Mindfreak.
Yes! We get to see it. That's what we want to be seeing down. We haven't had the opportunity to see a map 3 so far. Spices things up a little bit as well, because we were saying, like, they're two of the teams that we would expect to go to map 3, and here we are. That's what we like to see.
Yes, indeed, that is. Of course, we will be going into Bind as that third map in the end. And I think we've had, two opposite ends of the spectrum in this so far. We've had Mind Freak being a little bit more dominating on map number 1 of Haven, which was the Direwolves map pick, and then flip it over, Mind Freak's map pick and Ascent. You've got the Direwolves being a little bit more dominating. So it's anyone's guess on what we are going to see going into map number 3, guys. But whilst we go to look into Bind for the third map, we have to send it over to a short break for everything to get situated in for us. So we will be back very shortly.
I just time traveled. Ah, today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Alrighty, everyone, thank you for being patient once again, and welcome back to the VALORANT Oceania Tour for 2021. If you're just joining us or if you have forgotten, my name is Dion Cabota. Joining me tonight is Joseph Quick Draw Basso, and we are now getting to the tail end finally, as we are seeing the third and final map finally in all of these closed qualifiers now between Mind Freak and Direwolves.
It's taken a while, but we have got here. It's been a very, very long night, and we have seen a lot of great Valorant actually being displayed this evening as well. Both series, I'd probably argue, have delivered, one more one-sided than the other, but this one that we're doing right now between Mind Freak and Direwolves, this one has been a pleasure to watch so far.
Yeah, you're not wrong by any stretch of the mind just there. And before we get in towards this matchup real quick, we see where the teams here are going to be going. So it's 1-1 down at the bottom of this bracket, of course. The winner of this matchup here will be going over to face up against Demon. And that is going to be a spicy match that will be played forward for us all tomorrow, of course. But for right now, we are getting the little ears. We're getting the communications that we are ready to get in towards Bind. It is the third and final map of this series for tonight.
It's a nice way to finish it too. We've seen a couple of great plays coming through on the last 2 days of this closed qualifier bracket, and I'm keen to see what these teams can bring to the table, Dion, because Bind is a map we've seen before. There's been a lot of great plays, and I'm more excited to see what these 2 teams can actually bring to the table overall on this one.
Yeah, well, of course, new agent lineups coming in towards this here map in Bind. Bring in a Brimstone to an Omen, bring in some Razors, the Cyphers, and what have you as well. So, as we get things situated, do you have a prediction, Joe, on who is going to take victory here?
If bias aside, the Mind Freak boys, I think they could potentially bring this one home, especially after the first map. Second one, not as bad. They still managed to lose it out to the Direwolves, but I feel like they might have it in the bag. But nothing against the Direwolves. I feel they may potentially do it as well.
I need a solidification. Here, Joe. Mind Freak or Direwolves? Put it forward.
Mind Freak, done. What about you?
Mind Freak? All right, I'm going to go against you. I think the Wolves have been able to prove themselves on map number 2. I think they might be able to take it here. Let's wait and see, shall we? It's Bind. Mind Freak, they got the choice of which side to start on. They've chosen defense, and we are straight in towards the B site right now on this pistol round. So Dark get some information. Not going to be able to come into fruition, unfortunately, as Awesome. We get taken down relatively low as well. With that spike already being planted, it's a 5 versus 5 retake off the get-go.
Yeah, and it's a very clean one at that as well. As Snow just full sending it straight through the smoke. Just going to be able to pick up the head of Yakuza to kick things off. And for Mind Freak now on the retake, they managed to slip all their players out. But the key thing to remember as well, there is a flank coming through, but Direwolves, they're managing to pick up these frags left, right, and center here, Dion.
Oh, and it's just going to be down to Pain to try and hold off from this position. They've overlooked Jun, actually. All of them! They're not even expecting him! He's just going to let him go. He's going to line him up. There's one, there's the second one. He already knows where the last player is, and he's so low right now. They've overlooked a crucial position, and this round could be the Wolves. And he'll find out Snow as well! That is a huge round to come through from Jun.
What a flank, Dion. I was saying it before, no one noticed it, but he just went all the way around through A, snuck into that little dugout spot on the side and just waited. You know, you could call it baiting, but, you know, he got a 3K out of it in a clutch. So we'll classify that as a clutch from him. He's done well for himself.
I got to say here, Joe, Bind has really showcased to us what everything has happened. We've got Texas play. We've just had that one. Oh, absolutely love it.
Can we just have 3 maps of Bind? I think that's probably the play at this point.
Well, I think ExoClan would be happy with that one there. Hey.
It's all about consistency, Dion. It's all about consistency. And my God, Lakers, what a start.
Oh, you're welcome that start if you're on Mind Freak right now. Lou is going to be able to welcome one of his own into what? June. Okay, that's a little bit spicy to come through from Lakers. Not going to lie, the right click to connect onto him and force him back. Now the Spectre's being picked up as well. Where was this Lakers in the previous map?
I mean, he's here to pop off, and so far he's done it. The pistol kill straight off the bat recovers the Spectre as well, so that's at least something that's going to come forward for the side of Mind Freak. But the main concern for them, Dion, they've got these players out towards the A side that they've just let out for free. And, you know, in a round like this where you know your team is going to be on pistols, Mind Freak wouldn't really care. They're just trying to find these picks as best they can.
Yeah, and then with the plant going down now for the Direwolves, they've got that player advantage. Remember, they've even got, well, I was going to say Jun with the camera available to look over the site, but now he's been dispatched of Norson. Will also be meeting in the grave the rest of the Mind Freak teammates. It's going to be the 2 versus 3 now. Both Sovers and Razors alive. It's just going to be Lou to lead the charge on this jet. He can get Dancy with it. There's a recon bolt now available for the Direwolves as well, with enough time that he could get it on out. The Shorty only gets 1 connection from Snow, and Lou will find Scroll in the end. So the Direwolves, they do not falter. And they do not trip over themselves in the second round. They do find it.
It's a nice follow-up, even after that little display from Lakers at the start. But for Mind Freak now, back on the rifles, round 3, we say it time and time again. This is where that team needs to find that first round on the board. But honestly, the first 2 rounds for Direwolves, they went the most convincing one. They did lose a couple of players from the side of Mind Freak on the pistols, which, you know, early stages, not the worst, but...
Yeah, I would agree with you with it not convincing. But that pistol round was certainly spicy.
Yeah, that's really the killer, honestly. Mind Freak definitely should have been on the right foot here. They should have been the ones in front right now.
Well, don't catch chickens before the hatch, because they might be able to get in front now with the weaponry that they do have at their disposal. But of course, Direwolves, they're going to be playing into this one, and they're going to be walking into a B-site entrapment of 3 players from Mind Freak. Here come down the sky smokes, and it's all going to be onto the successful hold. Lakers is able to find one onto the spike. There's just more players falling. Absolutely falling for the side of Direwolves. It's not even a single kill that we are potentially going to see to come out from them. Finally, Mindspeak have awoken themselves. It's onto Pain. He's able to find Scroll with this dart. Should be able to from the death location. And what will find him as well to close out the round. So Mind Freak are now on the board.
Knocking on the door. That round was very convincing. Lakers really just showing what he's worth. Just getting those 2 early picks. Dashing away. Didn't even need to worry. He had his teammates there to back him up. And it's a nice clean round, honestly, from Mind Freak to kick things off. And, you know, if they can follow up with another one, you know, Direwolves are not going to be in a good position. Like, Mind Freak has a little bit of money they can spend in the next round, but Direwolves, respectively, it's a bit of a weird patch for them.
A bit of a weird patch for them, but they will act accordingly, of course. Greenbot's going to be destroyed by Lou. An attempt at getting the ultimate orb in showers as the one over at Long of B is going to be claimed by the side of Mind Freak relatively freely. They are stacking their 3 players over here again. It worked out wonders for them in the previous round, so why not try it again? Globals, though, because it didn't work for them, they are changing the pace of the round, and Lou certainly, in fact, by finding what it's leading Snow to and get something happening in U-Hole, manages to find Wrath. Yakuza will take his head clean off. Spike can start to go down now. Norson is the one charged at doing so. Lou to find Norson. Sorry, not Norson. June.
Too many players.
Too many players getting there in the
Lakers.
end, and Lakers, he's just finding all the players. Yakuza finds Scroll, it's down to Lakers. They're both so low, 1 shot apiece from these blades will finish them. Let's also get the spike out. How is that a right click from that distance, Lakers? You're doing them dirty, charging now. Try and find the last frag, dashing on up. We've seen him the right click to get it in the end. That is a very, very flourishing 4K. And Mind Freak, they tied up 2-2.
How does that even happen?
As I said, where is this Lakers in map number 2?
He just rocked up. I mean, at last map he had like probably 2 rounds with the knife. Like he gets more kills on the knives deal than he does with a gun. That's what was established in the last 2 maps.
Yep.
Multi kills too. I think
Yeah,
all 3 times he's got 4 kills with them.
Oh, thereabouts, yeah. The biggest takeaway from that, though, is that direwolves are put onto a pistol now. And this is kind of being a little bit likewise of map number 1, right? Where we saw the early beginnings of what direwolves were capable of, but then Mindfreak kind of just took complete control over it. And like Haven, it's kind of starting to happen over on Bind. You can't solidify too much of that, though, for right now, because it is the very early stages. For what, it might even be the early stages of this round, because the Hunter's Fury is going to try and get him. TP to get out. Lakers found loot. Yakuza with the rocket is going to miss the bodies, and he's going to fall to the Boombot too. This round is certainly not going in favor of the direwolves. Lakers is even finding Wrath through the wall of the van. And it's only what? Losing his life for Mindfreak. Certainly a clean round for them.
Speed is key, honestly. Mindfreak just really putting on display at the moment in these last 3 rounds, and quite frankly, like, it's nice to see them clean up their act a little bit after last map, Dion. I hate to be that guy, but they're looking a little bit cleaner on this defense.
No, I definitely agree with you on that one. You know, the first pistol round, they overlook one thing, and that got them done out. The second one, you know, they were already on the lesser weaponry, so that's all well in the hood for it. But for now, when they got their rifle round Mindfreak, they are really rolling with it, and we're finally going to have guns again for direwolves. But this rocket is going to be a little bit better, as opposed to Yakuza's. Maybe you want to take one out of Elsnow's books. For now,
It's all about the movement, Dion. It's all about the movement.
Our drones will cross each other. And in the moment, for Mindfreak, they're pushing into showers to get the ulti orb.
These Sovers just keep going backwards and forwards together. First the darts, then the outcams. Like, they just love crossing paths all the time. And at least at the start of this round, like, it was... I would say Yakuza was quite close to getting that frag, but, you know, the ult just coming out and being quick on it, that's what you want to be seeing. And at least with the direwolves, they're managing to slip their way out towards this site. The Scroll is going to be able to kick things off on the right foot. The first pick going his way, but Wrath very quick to trade it back on the side of the direwolves.
Yeah, the big thing for the direwolves now as well is whilst they do have the 2-player deficit, they've got that orbital strike that they could utilize. As long as they do find what in towards showers, they should have a good grasp on this round. What's going to relocate himself as Pain finds Scroll. He also finds another one. Can't quite get the third though, as Elsnow will be able to find a trio in the round. And Mindfreak again on the retake this time. They do manage to find the round.
I love explosions.
Yeah, just another retake going to the way of the defenders. And Mindfreak, they're starting to really just show us what they're worth on this defensive side. 2 spike points going down for them, but... like, that's the real thing that's kind of just keeping direwolves in a position where they can somewhat buy through. Even this round, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch with the force buy. Like, we're going to see a Bulldog out with missing armor on Yakuza as well. It's just a little bit messy. It seems a little bit desperate, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do to try and get yourself back into it.
Deploying drone.
For direwolves, how do they get back into it right now? They've got the weaponry to do so. They've been feeling the forces of Mindfreak, who, of course, leading on the charge for Lakers, does overlook a crucial position. Yakuza blending in with the surroundings at B short. Lakers taken down relatively low. Another shot with the operator, at least could get something done. They will fall back on the tagging, but Pain will be inflicting pain onto Lakers. Now is the time to get in towards the B side, extremely so, as Yakuza finds Scroll. The camera will tag out Yakuza. He's going to look for where Norton is. There's one, there's a second one, and then more importantly, it's the spike. They jump out, and this crossfire is so superb from Norton, and what? Jun has no idea what to do for the remainder of this round. His team, they had the advantage, they had the opportunity. It was given them to them on a silver platter, Joe. And all it took was one player, Norton,
just one oversight. That's all it is. And quite honestly, when you see that camera ping you, you
30
really do
seconds
not
left.
expect that Cypher to be pushed up towards Garden. And even now, Jun, this is the second time he tried to go for that flank, but he gets punished for it. And now he's stuck in this 1v3 scenario where Mindfreak, they're just going to pepper him down at some point. But the question is, when are they going to do it? That's going to be Norson to finish this off. The man of the round. 4 kills for him, that one. And that is massive for the side of Mindfreak again.
Massive for the side of them. Direwolves, they are still holding on towards this orbital strike as well. It's not like they're doing so to counter a Killjoy or to counter absolutely any of the abilities of the Mindfreak side. They will just be using that and holding that for when they do successfully get a plant down, and maybe they can line themselves up for a Brimstone Molotov and that orbital strike to buy a lot of time off that defuse. Something that always tickles my fancy when it comes to these games, but they haven't really been provided a chance to be able to do that yet, Joe, because they haven't got these plants down and they haven't had enough time to situate themselves after the fact. And again, off the get-go, I mean, it is the lesser weaponry for Direwolves in this round, but they are already down a player, an impactful player, as Lakers finds the opening kill.
Oh, what a
At least
shot.
that's one in return.
That's a shot to be hitting as well if you're trying to at least even up the one-man scenario. And Lou is going to try and find himself some more potentially, and he's just managed to find Norson as well. June to actually find another one back. Some else no. He's still on fire. He's managed to find himself 2 more back, but somehow Mindfreak, the entire defense, has just been shattered completely. It's all just on Elsno to try and clutch it out.
Yeah, it's not something that you like to see. It's, you know, painful. That's for sure. Direwolves 2 versus 1. Spike looking to go in towards B. Look at the stark difference in location so from Direwolves. Plant's going down. Elsno has no idea though that it literally is only one player here. He will find it with a very, very awkward way. At least for Pain, there is a Hunter's Fury, right? So Elsno taps the Spike.
Doesn't even need it.
Use it. He just takes him out as well. Okay, so sheriffs are better than big boy guns here, folks.
What was that round? Like, just everyone seems to be lurking on Direwolves. I always have one just hanging back. Like normally it's going to be Jun, but that round it was just Pain that wanted to go for the long flank. And yeah, you know, I'm surprised it worked out for them. It's in a scenario like that when you don't know where the players are, especially if you're Elsno on a 1v2, it makes things so much harder. Especially when you go for that fake defuse and you get caught off guard. So it's a little unfortunate, but Mindfreak still have that lead maintained.
Early happenings of new round, teleporters to be heard tenfold. Pain to dispatch of 2 very, very quickly. And whilst Mindfreak trying to bring it back, Pain is still lurking around for another one. Yakuza will make it that there is only Elsno frolicking around the server now, and Direwolves, they have found their little jolt that they needed back into the round. Yakuza is going to split off from the pack, push through towards the spawn. Maybe catch Elsno. The blast pack will reveal the position as he tries to get into the spawn, but Yakuza will find Elsno. That's 2 for Yakuza. It was 3 in the previous for his teammate, and that's a little full house that the Direwolves will be running through with.
It is a little bit unfortunate that round for Elsno, like, especially with 3 players, and they planned it even towards the spawn as well, which just made it so much harder for him. And, you know, the timing, Yakuza finds the kill onto Elsno, and, well, 5 ults are going to be available on the side of the Direwolves down, and I'd be afraid if I'm Mindfreak right now. They got those 5 rounds consecutively, but now the Direwolves, they are biting back in a big way.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit hot under the collar if you're Mindfreak right now, but they've at least shown some resilience in the past to be able to bounce back from this. So it's not like that they're going to be unexperienced in this nature right now. I think the biggest thing for them, though, and the scary prospect is the fact that they'd have to go onto an eco again soon if they lose it out. Pain's just opened up for one. Also, at least affording a trade. Would like to see him gather up the operator to at least keep that kicking. But for Direwolves, I mean, look, they've got 4 players alive. They've got 4 ultimates alive. They're going to use one of them over into U-Hole and hop on. They've overlooked showers. They've done this before, and it was to their detriment. But Lou finds Norson. Do they expect the second player in what? Of course they should. They know that he's been always going in this tandem play in towards showers. Scroll very early to use the Hunter's Fury. This fight's not even going down just yet. It will finally as the paint shells go on through. What's even being tagged out right now, so they know that he is on that lurk. The jig is up. Yakuza on this rocket is just buying time. Does not even need a kill off the back of it. A shock that's going to force him back and in. The Molotov is used early from Direwolves. I mean, he could have potentially lurked around through towards short, which is where Jun is currently looking over towards. I would have loved to see a Brimstone Molotov lineup, but I mean, he's taken a lot of time. All of Mindfreak's taking their sweet time. At least he's able to find the kill onto Lou. Another rocket in. He does get the kill onto Yakuza. They need to get onto this spike, and they need to do it now. It's going to be denied by Jun. All onto Raph, 30 HP. But Mindfreak might be able to clutch this one out. It's a 1 versus 1. Sticking in the spike, and Raph clutch it out. It's a chaotic round, but the Wolfpack, they do roar in the server and equalize 5 apiece.
Just so close towards the end, like they almost made it possible. But what I really like about how Mindfreak plays their defense is those 2 players deep in bathroom in the round and allowing the Direwolves boys to push up towards at least A main. And it does work in some scenarios, but that round alone, they just allow them to get that entire site under control. And you could see it, Watt was stuck in bathrooms and he really could not do much, especially with the likes of Lou watching him.
Yeah, well, you could just see that Direwolves, you know, how paranoid they were at Watt's position, and it kind of works out for them at the end because they keep him contained, they keep him occupied, but I guess it's likewise in the flip side of that, right? Watt is keeping them looking over to his direction, allowing his team to get into the site, but Direwolves, they do manage to luck into the round victory, and now they force Mindfreak on a very awkward purchase. Lakers is already down for the count. And the rotation goes over towards B, where there's only one more lurking member for Mindfreak. It's Scroll in hookah, and he's probably going to get shouldered out. Remember, the Sova cape, if you're running around, it can give away your position more so than any other agent. Oh, but look at this gun scene. He lines them all up, but he can only find one.
It's just so close to getting a pick onto Wrath as well with those paint shells, but at least for the side of Direwolves, they're going to be trying to work their way out towards the B site, and El Snow with the Stinger is going to be able to find the first, but Lou, quick to trade, 2 headshots, not a problem, and they know exactly where what's coming from because he just went through that teleporter and made a whole lot of noise.
He needs to have a monster play right now, Joe, to be able to bring this back. There's the first one onto June. The Stinger can definitely find big quick kills, but the crossfire is a little bit too strong. Taken down to 1 versus 1 though, Mindfreak. They had the lesser weaponry. They could be happy with the outcome there. Of course, they wanted the round win. But Joe, last round of the half, it's neck and neck.
Yeah, just another similar scenario again, and history does repeat itself. Both these teams, similar kills, similar playing field, and really at this point down, it's really about who's hitting their shots. Like both teams are playing a very structured, similar play style at the moment, and what I really like is the adaptation that comes through from both these teams. Like, Lakers isn't afraid to get aggressive, and neither are any of the Direwolves members, to be honest with you.
An aggressive short plate from Mindfreak, but they're already backing off. Camera utilized to see their position. It's an A split. It's looking to be relatively quick as well. Hunter's Fury, neural theft available for the Wolves. The Hunter's Fury is going to be utilized as well, coming out through showers. And Elson's going to catch up on all this information. Paint shells out. The collateral to actually come through from Lou. Elstone and Lakers line up. Yakuza peeks his head out of the smoke to find what. Player advantage now for Direwolves. They start to get this plant on down. Cloudburst just to get a little bit of coverage out, as it is the B players now rotating on over. The Sky Smoke will fade on through. There is no longer any smoke to obscure visibility from the Direwolves, so they are going to be playing in this 2 crossfire in through hookah. Shock Dart as well is going to tag up Norson a little bit, or at least just buy some time, and Norson swings and finds Pain, expecting the second player to be in there. I think, and I say I think with a little bit of caution in my voice, that he was seen in U-hole. Yakuza should be known. The paint shells will give away his position.
Oh no, Squirrel! Oh no!
From beyond the grave! Perfect paint shells to come out from Yakuza as Direwolves bring around another onto their board. It's 7-5 the halftime scoreline, Joe.
That's really what you want to be seeing as well. Like, it's a close scoreline around like that where Squirrel dies from the graveyard with the paint shells. And
you actually know the biggest thing?
That's really what you want to be seeing. What would that be?
The biggest thing there?
No, that's alright.
The paint shells go off, right? I think Scroll could have jumped away from them if he didn't get a tag from Yakuza. Because you know the bullet impact slows you down so much. He potentially could have run away from the paint shells. I
think the other thing as well, I think he bunny hopped into the wall. I think he did as well. Because I know he got stuck.
I think he was slowed as well, so you can't really get that big old jump. Anyway, whichever way you look at it here, Joe. It's a round for Mindfreak. For Direwolves, sorry. It's Mindfreak's chase now. on this attacker side.
Yeah, they're going to be on the tail of the Wolves. Like, that's really the simplest way of putting it. The Wolf Pack is here to play. They're here to make their mark on this, at least this qualifier. And as it stands at the moment, Mindfreak are going for a very similar setup to what we saw from the Direwolves. A fast-paced push towards the A site, and they've just slipped their way through. But where's the plan? They need to try and get it. They don't know where these players are. They haven't cleared anything as of yet.
Well, the Molotov is going to buy 8 seconds before they flood in towards U-Hole, and they are going to see a couple of these Wolfpack members in here, but Jun is going to be able to find a great, superb amount of damage for 3. He's on 1 HP. He should not be able to find Lakers there, but the double dings to come out of the classic council for Norton and Scroll to be able to bring it back.
Oh my god,
Jun for the 4K. He's on for the ace right now. It's 1 versus 1. The Spike's leaving down. Jun's on 1 single point of HP. He has been since the 3rd kill in this round. The Cage is going to find him. Oh, he gets the shot out. If it was a right click, he could have found it. Potentially, maybe it was, but 4 HP for Norson, a 4K for Jordan. I can't believe it again. Man, the pistol round is his kingdom. He just couldn't get it in that one.
How does he get 4 kills on 1 HP? That's the real question I'm asking, Dion. I don't even know how it's physical possible.
Oh, if he found the last one onto Norson, I probably would have left the scene, man. 1 HP, he took him down to 4 HP. If it was a right click, I don't even know if it was a left click. I wasn't just looking like
that was a right click.
I think it was
just
a right
hit the body.
click. I think it was, but yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
he got close. It was a valiant effort. Let's just leave it at that. Honestly, like you cannot expect more than that, especially on his HP. And look at him. He wants more. Jun's feeling it.
Yeah,
look at him. He's close range to the shotgun now.
It's one of those things when if you're in ranks, you're saying, "Where's my team? Did my team do damage? What are they doing?" You know. I'm guilty of saying that.
Yeah, come on, we all are, Dion. We all are. It happens to all of us at some point.
Well, it's a fresh round. Mindfreak, I guess lucky in the fact that they find that pistol, all things considered. 4 HP. We won't toil on it for too longer. Here comes the Bucky of Jun. He's being seen. Can he get anything? No, unfortunately not. It's going to be the steamroll now to come out from Mindfreak over to the A side. At least they are going to be knowing where the objective is in the spikes. Get planted this time. Norton's going to be charged with doing that. He's going to attempt to do it in the cage. A fake just to make sure that no one is perusing around the site. And by all means, we should see a tied scoreline at the closing of this round here, Joe. But I wouldn't even count out the Direwolves. We've seen so much in this game so far. Wrath has been able to find one. At least the recovery does come through from Mindfreak now, and Lakers will close out for 2.
Yeah, just a very clean push, and Mindfreak's just giving Direwolves a taste of their own medicine here. Like, they're just going full send straight onto the A site, getting the spike down and just holding out. And, you know, it may work on the pistols, don't get me wrong, but, like, when you're on the rifles, that's where it starts to, you know, become a little bit more sluggish. You got to be at least a little bit more aware about how these defenders are going to be playing it out.
All I know is, Joe, with our little delay that we have to the stream, that pistol round is being played out right now, and I, for one, cannot wait to see people's reactions. Well, not yet. They're getting into it, but let's
slowly
into our live round, because we've got a buy up from the Direwolves now. Bit of a bonus for Mindfreak, the Bucky, and the Spectres.
Enemy mark.
That's a lot of info to be gained as well from the outcam, and Yakuza. Good position to try and make something happen for the Direwolves, but Payne, he's just impacting so much in this round. He's managed to find 2 kills alongside his teammate. The spike's down, and now it's just down to the 2 remaining players, and Watts, he's managed to slip his way through to Elbow, but can he find this starting kill? That's the main question we have. He will successfully manage to do so, and again, why is there someone lurking? Norton, you're going to help your teammate, buddy. I don't know why you're going for the lurk. Is it something with Cyphers just going to the opposite side this game? Oh my god!
Well, if you're the authentic look,
what am I watching?
You would look at Iron for one, but for now, I guess it kind of works out if they're able to find the pick over at the A site. Although when you're not with your team, it kind of does make things tricky for what he's already been seen in this smoke. There's only so much he can do, but he's got the right timing on towards Yakuza, bringing it into the 2 versus 2 fashion show around the B site. But look at this, Lou. He's even in a little bit of a position that is not expected whatsoever, and now I don't even know what's happened. We've just had 3 extremely weird rounds, and I mean, if Watt's able to bring this one back where they know that he's coming from, that would be amazing, but he's already been tagged down to 18 HP. Smoke's going to go through. He can try, he can attempt to do something here. He's not going to be able to get over towards the A site, unfortunately. He's just going to save the rifle to the next round.
what had somewhat of a good idea. I feel if he tried to at least slip his way through, maybe towards the B teleporter, that might have been a little bit more viable. But I think the key thing to mention, like in the ideal scenario, Norson no way should have won that duel against Jordan. And then from there, even though Norson went for the teleport, I think that would have been the false pay. He should have just waited for his teammate, potentially just allowed Watt to try and get out of that situation. Because like he was just stuck. He couldn't really do much from that position.
Yeah, it is at the end of the day, you know, always those what ifs, and it's the spur of the moment type of thing as well. Like, at the end, we can't change it now. It is set in stone unless there's somebody out there that has solved time travel and all the riddles that will pose. But anyway, Direwolves in the lead by 1 round. Lou is going to be spotted in hookah. Going to use his dash to get out. He's going to take the duel down to 10 HP. He will use it, but he gets out by the skin of his teeth. Neural theft available on the side of Direwolves. A little bit of control, though, to be established from Mindfreak up towards the A site. It's a little bit of a passive hold from the Wolfpack as well right now. Lakers just out of vision of this camera. If you join, you probably don't even want to tag anybody on this camera, to be honest. It's in a bit of an off angle that you might be able to utilize it a little bit later, but the camera does get destroyed very, very quickly because we've seen it once before. Lakers is able to just hold W with the Phantom and find a little bit of a running spray. Pain now. Be showed out his dart. It's not going to find a kill on towards anybody for now, as the plant will start to go down.
Yeah, the simplest way of putting it as well, Dion, like Mindfreak is just overwhelming them. Like they're forced into another save situation on the side of the Direwolves, and like Mindfreak are just doing really, really well getting onto these sites and just holding them out. Like they just can't afford to go for it either.
Out of charges. Revealing area.
Yeah, well, Direwolves hit. They go for the save. They'll take their weaponry over to the next one where we'll be tied up 8-8. Kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat right now, doesn't it? This map is really providing us the show to close out the night. We are bringing ourselves up to midnight here in Melbourne. Joe's in Adelaide, so he's a little bit behind. Over in New Zealand, it's, hitting 1:30 a.m. right now.
Shout out to our local El Snow. Any Kiwis who are playing or staying up to watch the game, we appreciate you guys. It may be a late one, but we're all here for the same reason. We love the game and we love what we do. Just looking at Scroll, he's got 15 assists right now, Dion.
Yeah, look, assist king. I'll point it out though that he doesn't have double digits on the kills. I'll be that guy.
He's doing his part.
He's capable of it. He is.
Yeah, we all know he is. Like, even if you're on the bottom and you have that many assists, like, you're just as good as someone fragging out, in my opinion, because you're still doing the damage.
Hey, it's always that thing where you've got to have someone to direct your hate at, right, on your team. Score will be that person on the bottom, but his counter argument will be, I've got 15 assists. You guys steal my kills.
It's like, just be quiet. I'll do what I want to do. I'm the support player. Let me do my thing, all right? That's the simplest way of putting it.
I reveal them, you shoot them. That's probably the name of the game right now for Direwolves to get in towards this A side. Again, it's a 3-stack for them right now around A. So all they have to do is hold Mindfreak at bay.
Nowhere to run.
There's a reveal. Here's Hunter's Fury. Is it an assist? Is it a kill? It's looking to be an assist. There's another one.
Oh, oh god, the shotgun, Dion. We love to see it with Wrath, but he gets taken out, and it's a similar scenario. 4v3 now. Mindfreak again. They've got that advantage on the post-plant situation. It just seems like a bit of a rinse and repeat scenario for them on this attacking side. And honestly, for the Direwolves now, they're going to try and get themselves back into it, but how much can they do in this round?
Yeah, Watt's trying to bait out a little bit of the presence to just make sure that Lakers can try and get the kill into Junt, which will be successful as well. Mindfreak, they don't need to do anything ambitious. They just have to let Direwolves kind of frolic around the site and see if they can go in for a retake. They're looking over all their angles that they need to. There's now a recon bolt available for Pain, but he's been dismissed out of the round. And whilst Loot does get Lakers, the round's already a little bit too far, but he'll go and save this gun. If he possibly can, because you've already got Scroll in hookah, and Scroll will find it as well. 9 for Mindfreak here.
No, they're doing very well for themselves, and you can see why Lou wanted to go for that save with the rifle. Like, the money is just in an absolutely atrocious position for the side of Direwolves, and Mindfreak's done well for themselves. That one round where 3 players had to save the guns, Like, that really did just kill them, and now they're just back onto the pistols with the one shotgun on Jun. But, you know, we've seen it work for them in the past, Dion.
We indeed have, but, you know, we've seen, or Mindfreak have seen it done in the past as well, so they'll have to have that remembrance that they are possibly going to see it now. Lakers finds Lou. Payne finds the trade. Info on the drone. Only to one player, though. Elgato. There's a tag as well. Oh, and a perfect Hunter's Fury. Scroll very lucky to dodge the last bolt of it, but that does put Direwolves in a bit of a good stead right now. They've got a player advantage. No extra damage onto the remainder of these players. A recon bolt that Payne could use somewhere to just gather out some information. One false step from Mindfreak and we could see Direwolves find this round.
Yeah, and it wouldn't really be the best scenario for them either. Like, I'm even surprised they've managed to get themselves down to a 4v3, especially with the pistols in the hands of the Direwolves at the moment. And for Mindfreak currently, all three players going to be cribbing their way up towards the site itself. And Jun is the only man left to try and hold out this push. But, you know, with the Bucky, especially in a position like that, it's going to make things a lot harder for them on this retake. But with Norson, it's going to be able to get that spike down, and the retake will commence. The orbital strike, not going to do as much, a little bit late on it, but oh my god, Payne, what a shot.
Oh no, they're doing it to him sideways right now, Joe. It's all on a scroll. You need the biggest
Oh my
touch of
god,
your career.
scroll!
Okay, maybe I speak too soon. There's three. It's 1 versus 1, and we already know that Payne's been taken low. He's now been seeing the shock dart misses. We could see a bank off the wall to come out from Scroll, but he just waltzes out, and he finds the headshot as well. Scroll, take a bow, my friend. I called you out before for your assists, but now you've overtaken 2 of your teammates and won another round for Mindfreak.
If I could get on my knees and praise this man, Dion, I would do it. This man is the ultimate server this game. Like, you know, he's doing everything. Kills, clutches, assists. You really couldn't ask for anything better from this man.
You know someone's going to turn that to be just the quote eco frags from Scroll there?
It's just going to be a big meme on Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, it's just gone positive off eco frags. Why are we bringing this up?
Hey, he's still out of 1 versus 4 though, so you got to give credit to him. We've seen a lot of 4Ks, 3K big plays, clutches, flanks. This map's had everything except, I guess, maybe a knife kill.
Yeah, you know, we're still waiting for that one, Dion, but like even at the moment, it's delivering. Bind has just been the map to watch so far in this close qualifier, and quite frankly, as it stands at the moment, it's going to keep delivering with the Direwolves back on this buy as well.
Scanning ahead.
Yeah, a couple of ultimates to be toyed with as well. A couple of ultimates to really curve yourselves into this round. Jun's camera's been completely overlooked by Lakers. This is a crucial amount of information through the smoke. Some damage to be delivered on towards Lou. Is what we'll try to get into the side. Eventually, they will destroy the camera. But for all what it was worth, the camera spotted out the info. Direwolves didn't really do anything with it.
Yeah, the info was there, but anything more is really just unfortunate. And again, Lawson loves to be the lurk player, manages to find one. The neural theft to come through, and they've done really well to get this info as well. They can just play these post-lane positions. They know where these players are going to be coming from, but this defuse, it's not actually being stuck as of yet. And Jun has been able to pick up 2 Scroll and Lakers to do the same in a 3v2 now. As Direwolves looking to try and make it happen. Jun, again, that's 3. Yakuza finds one more, and oh my god, it's so close.
And they're going to have it
How have
too.
they just done
Oh
that?
my dear. Oh, 1 second? 2 seconds even. Nearly 3.
What? What is this map? Oh, does Bind just... Oh my god. It's just a mess, Dion. It's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess.
It is a mess. You're not wrong, but we welcome it. We live for it. You're certainly seeing after map 1 and 2, you know, where it went so far forward one way, so far forward the other way, that the final one does come down to the nitty-gritty, to the tight wire. And hey, very, very happy. For right now, the rounds could go anyone's way. The game could go anyone's way as well.
Get out of my way.
And it's up in the air of who's actually going to take it.
This is nice. Lou, looking to try and find that pick towards your opposing jet, but Nothing's been found as of yet. A second whiff shot actually to come through from him. So Lakers does seem to live another day. And it's a Mind Freak, a different setup, a default, which is lovely to see. They're trying to get this information as best they can before they decide to go for a push. And for Direwolves, it's again a very, very passive setup for them.
Nowhere to run.
Nice Fury out in the beginning of the round from Scroll.
Oh,
And he will manage to find Lou only after his teammate has met the grave. Going to get revealed by the dart as well, so they are going to try and eliminate him through his own cage. Although being able to find one there is a-okay in the book of the game. Scroll going to be taken out by Payne. Wrath as well to find Norson, and now it's all down to just Lakers. Was already tagged up early on, but I don't believe they've heard him in towards CT. He's going to be finally looked after, but I think the timing has gotten out of him. He surely saw the gun barrel over in the cubby right now. He's poised for it. The Molotov, though, goes over to his location. He gets in front of it. He's been seen a right-click out. Can he get another one? He's been allowed to. But Yakuza will get the trade. We are tied up 10-10 here, Joe. I'm smelling overtime soon.
this is the closest game we've had. This is the closest game we've had, and you know we did call this. We thought it would be a close game, and we are going to be having a tech timeout. Seems like Lou has 50% packet loss, which is never a good thing.
That's okay. Hopefully the pause doesn't take too long.
What are we thinking? Because this has just been insane, to say the least. Like, this is by far probably one of the best series I've casted.
I'm feeling and thinking it's a little bit past dinner time, and I'm hungry.
No, it is a mood. I had a bit of pizza before we started. I think it was about 6 o'clock my time we started, so it's been about 5 hours. Yeah, I can probably relate on that one. Almost time to eat. We're getting close to the end, to be honest. All right, we'll get there eventually.
Hey, all I know is my brother texted me before saying HSP question mark, and I said yes.
No, fair shout. I mean, we call it ABs down here. I know there's a battle between that as well. Yeah, just Adelaide things.
Nah, fake. fake Australian continent. Can we get rid of him?
I don't even know what it stands for. It's like Adelaide. I know what yours stands for, but I think it's like Adelaide Pack or something. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Dude. They're doing it wrong.
It's a there's some weird things, but hopefully we're getting into it shortly, Dion, before we start a punch up or something on stream. I don't know.
Well, if we can just bring up the scoreboard real quick. Right
There we
now,
go.
we'll see where these things are at. I mean, look at Scroll. He's up there with the boys now. Gotta be happy. Everyone pulling their weight.
You know what to do.
Payne's catching up on the assist game, though. You better look out.
Yeah. Well, let's see how this round turns out. It's almost like we have to call it round for round who's going to be able to take the lead now instead of who's going to take out the match. But for Luke, he's been able to sneak his way in towards showers. I say sneak. They already destroyed the recon dart, so there's at least a little bit of information. That's where you can see that Mind Freak are being very, very cautious.
Look at him. So careful. The Owl Cam is going to spot Lua. That's unfortunate. Definitely could have been a starting pick for the side of Direwolves that they really do need to try and open up the round. But Mind Freak, oh, that is so close, Lakers. He picks up the wrong player. There's still Lou towards the back of the site. They know he's going to be hiding there as well. The paint shelves to come through. The smokes, they know what's going on, but it's just an absolute mess on the push.
Yeah, it's really not what you want to see from Direwolves. They are getting bullied at the back of the A site. June at least able to find Elsnow, and in the midst of the cage, they will have to lurk around for a little bit longer. 3 versus 3 darts out from Payne. Spike denied because it's going over towards the B site. Lakers now is going to pull an Orson and go for a little bit of a late lurk and frolic around the A site. That does mean his team is technically a little bit vulnerable over on this site. Doesn't really matter if Scroll can remove the head of June. Looking for a second one as well. They'll be playing in toward the retake now because they've got the player advantage. There goes Lakers in the TP. Payne's going to be spotted out as well. And look where the spike is planted right now, Joe. It's in the middle of the open. There are so many different avenues that this can be looked after. Lakers is playing time in hookah. Norton's found Yakuza. It's onto Payne. They know where he was.
Yeah, there's not really much he can do either. He's got 3 angles. He has to check, the first one being hookah. He knows Lake is hiding around, but the main concern, he's got 2 more players to deal with. Tries for the up roof, not going to be so lucky, and Payne is unfortunately going to fall. And Mind Freak, that's going to be the lead going their direction, Dion, and it's coming down to the wire.
It is indeed. And you want to know the unfortunate circumstance right now for Direwolves? They out of cash. They have no Skrilla. They have to dive into pistols again, and admittedly we've seen it before, but are they going to be able to do it again? I mean, 3 buckies. Are they just toying with us for right now?
They'll rebuy something different, surely. Oh no. Oh no. It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
If they somehow win this, Dion, I'm going to be shook.
At this point, I wouldn't even be shocked, to be honest with you. We've already seen too much in this. There's a Hunter's Fury available for them that they could, you know, utilize on the back of some information. The Buckies are only, I think, even here to just scare Mind Freak at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you see close range, you have 3 shotguns aiming at your head. What do you think's going to happen? Like, I think it's going to be more of a panic remover than thinking about what's going on. And this is nice, Wrath.
Oh,
this is nice.
that's a lot
The
of
first
damage.
kill. That's the first. Can he get the second though? He knows he's going to be hiding out there, but he can't find it. Oh.
He could even drop a Molotov in toward the cubby right now just to buy another 8 seconds of time and a little bit of damage. They are hungry to find the weapon that was put on the floor. There's even more damage being done over on towards Raze, and Yakuza is pushed up through towards Short B as well. If they don't overlook this position, Elsno, oh, it's going to come on out. There's the shot. The Buckies are doing it here. But there's extra information now that Scroll finds Yakuza. Okay, trades are happening from Mind Freak, but they need to open up in towards this B site right now because that's 2 weapons down, 2 players down, more importantly. There's a Marshall here for Lou. Can't quite get the first tag. The second one's missing as well. You really hate to see this. The Scroll finally gets tagged enough, so Shocked Up will go on out. And we'll actually find out Wrath in the end. The trade comes through. There's only 10 seconds to get this plant down. It's 2 versus 2. The time is here. And Direwolves, you cursed it, Joe. They've won the thrifty with the Buckies. See you later.
No. You know what the worst part is? The Buckies actually did most of the damage too, up until Payne just decided to, just click heads. That's oh, you can't. Yeah. Oh man, what? I feel sorry for Crash at this point. This man's probably just feeling a little bit underwhelmed.
Where's our Crash on the mic when we need it? Crash cam.
Can I get a Crash check?
I mean, we've got Crash cam the whole time.
We got Crash cam. Crash cam's good cam.
Indeed.
He's nodding. There we go. That's what we want to see, Crash.
You know what I want to? You know what I feel? Crash, switch to the team who you think is going to win right now. Do you think it's Wolves or Mind Freak?
Nowhere to run.
Right. He's staying on Lakers, so he's thinking it's Mind Freak. Alrighty, let's go. We're going in towards the B site right now. Lakers, unfortunately, though, is going to have his head removed. Elso does one better. He does 2 better, in fact. In towards the site. The dart will be destroyed. Elso on 5 HP. Counting his lucky stars that he's still able to survive in the mix right now. That's all that Mind Freak needed to do. You know, they've gotten a little bit of that information. They've disconnected themselves from the B site. They're over into A. The neural theft does absolutely nothing. At least solidify for Direwolves that all the players in Mind Freak are here. They themselves have a neural theft for a hold. Jun's camera to spot out some info. That's well placed. Does get destroyed. This has to be a real methodical approach to come through from Direwolves now. The smoke will go down. And will manage to destroy the bot. Yakuza finds the kill. He's on the rocket and he will get it from the grave. It's Jun to try and clutch it out versus Scroll. There's another player though on the side of the Direwolves. That is going to be Wrath who gets the trade. And that here, Joe, is Direwolves finding map point, finding elimination point, finding series point, finding semi-final point, whatever you want to have it at you. It's now on to Mind Freak to find this round and send it to OT.
Oh my god, look at this buy though. It's going to be rough. I mean, we've just seen Direwolves pull it out of them, but can Mind Freak do the same? I think they can, personally.
We've seen Direwolves pull it back from 8 to 10.
Still rather close though. Like this is what we want to be seeing, especially heading into the semi-finals, where this is going to be a make or break point for them.
Yeah, it's do or die going towards the next qualifier stage and have at it again for one of these teams. Very ambitious from Lou to push up into Hookah. Our drone's going to be heard. He doesn't want anything of it. The blades will be brought out now. They have to be so careful. It's one of those heart-pumping moments for both of these teams. You know, you want to rely on that orbital strike to find something from Wrath. The rocket as well, and that neural theft on the side of Mind Freak. Absolutely crucial in a time like this. Minute to go.
It's gonna be a weird one, Dion. It's gonna come down to the wire. Like a minute left, as you're saying, but there's still the trips up. They've still got a 3-man stack towards A, especially with Pain having the recon data in the hands. Like they've got both of their players who get the most info over towards A, so this could cause some trouble for Mind Freak.
You know what else they've got? They've got 3 players here. They've got Sova and Brimstone. Shock darts, recon bolt. They've got the camera from the Cypher, and they've got the orbital strike. This is
orbital strike.
If you are Direwolves, and there's the orbital strike. It's buying time. 30 seconds. They can find some more with a Molotov with some shock darts. The rocket doesn't even find June. Elsno does in the end. This is it. This is for all the marbles. Spike is going down. No denial right now, and that is good. Lou able to find one. Norson getting out the trade. Shock darts from Pain going over towards the back of U-Hold. Dim beaconed up as well to find some extra peppering from the bullets. Yakuza puts in the blast pack. Can't get anything delivered, unfortunately. Oh, the kills are going the way of Mind Freak. I think we're going to overtime here, Joe. It's all on the back of Pain. 1 versus 4. We've seen a 4K from a Sova, but it ain't Pain. And the name of the game here is overtime.
Switching sides.
The first one
Overtime.
of the entire closed qualifiers, and what better way to do it? Last game of the night between the last 2 teams that are fighting out for that qualifier position in the next round. And this is delivered, Dion. A massive round from Mind Freak there. I'm very surprised they managed to slip away with especially 4 players remaining at the end of that round after 3 players on the site on Direwolves somehow not being able to hold it.
Yeah. Gone the distance, Joe. For those of you, though, who might not know how OT works, because I actually got some people who have not seen this game before that are listening in, you got 5,000 credits to utilize in overtime. You must win 1 round on each side. If it's 1-1, you go again. That about
do we know if the lobby's been set up correctly? That's the other thing I'm kind of afraid of.
It should well be.
Because it's happened before. I hate to say it, but I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, at least we can remake the lobby and put it straight away to this.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best thing. But
not.
yeah, it's unlikely. But Direwolves, they're going to be kicking it off. They're going to be straight on to the site without an issue. And again, Mind Freak, they're doing their infamous bathroom push. 2 players in there, very similar to what we saw last time.
Yeah, well, the 5v5 retake, we've only seen a couple of these, and it already, you know, it's always been in shambles, so we'll see if it's going to come out into play for Mind Freak or Direwolves, of course. The operator's been bought out by Lakers here, so that's the long distance at least available right now. Paint shells in towards U-Hole. Everybody, all the words U-Hole is set for Direwolves, and right now there's one flank happening in towards Showers, but is it going to be called to action? I think it might need to be right now, as Yakuza finds Norson in all of this chaos. Finally, Pain reveals himself as on a scroll, and that doesn't come into play. Direwolves now, they take the lead in overtime on that attacker's side. The side that they struggled in the beginning of the game, I might add. They've gotten that round.
This is absolutely massive from Direwolves, especially that round leading themselves with a 2v1 scenario, winning it out. And best part about overtime, Dion, the other team can still buy, so it's practically a reset in regards to how the round's going to end itself, but who's going to win this one? That's the real question. Direwolves could see themselves being sent off the face against Demon or Mind Freak.
You look at that, right? It was 5 rounds in a row for Mind Freak on the attacker side. Then Direwolves were able to find 5. It took them a while to get started. It wasn't until they had those big boy rifles. Now they've got those massive guns in overtime, and they're able to get it situated. So with Direwolves having the leg up here, we face another overtime if they lose it out to Mind Freak. Direwolves been ambitious to already push up through A, but they want to catch Mind Freak off guard. They want to do them dirty. They're starting to rotate over towards B a little bit as well.
Like, they've shown presence towards A, which hasn't dragged that extra rotation. But up until now you're going to see the jet rotate across. And now for Mind Freak, like, they've still got a very split attack. That's the other thing. They're trying to potentially fake it out, and it's working. Look at them. They've basically just gone for the full rotate over towards A now, and Mind Freak has to hit this now, otherwise Direwolves going to go for the rotate back, and there you go. They're already back towards that side again.
And Lakers, he could even sit in the TP for a little bit. It's 5 versus 5. You
Oh,
gotta do something
no.
unexpected. Speak about unexpected. Lou manages to find 2. All he needs to do is buy time right now. Sitting in his own cloudburst. He's gonna try and get into the site. He's not gonna be able to do so. Now it's on to Jun. 1-to-1 trades coming in for everybody. Camera out for Norson. Spots out a tag onto Wrath. And now they know where the Stover is as well. Great damage out of the shock dart. However, right now, Hunter's Fury for Scroll. If he finds a kill, it's not coming into play, Joe. This is it. This is it. And Direwolves, they get the last kill that they needed. They get the clutch. They get the defuse. And this is a Direwolves victory. See you later, Mind Freak. There's even a little bit of BM right now. Boys, get your heads on straight. You're facing Demon tomorrow.
What a game, Dion. What a game. You really can't say much more. Like that was the best series, like by a long shot.
Yeah, man. That was a thriller, honestly. Like map number 1 and map number 2, we've already said it a little bit here, you know, on how that turned out. A one-sided affair technically on both of those, but get to the last one, we were seeing who is going to be able to win it out, you know, who was going to take the victory, and neck and neck, time and time again, it looks like it could be both of those teams, but I guess in the end, only one could get it, and it was the Direwolves. You and Crash went for Mind Freak. Just saying.
Norton's going to be angry. Norton's going to be mad at me for this. He's
I'll call him out.
Yeah. I think I did before an accident, but that's all right. Oh god. But yeah, Direwolves, you know, the winner at the end of the day deserves to be in the next round. That's the simplest way of putting it. But as I said before, like Mind Freak are just a team where you will expect them to be back in this position again. Like they're just such a good roster on paper.
Nah, 100%. Speaking about in the next little run, the bracket for what we are going to be seeing tomorrow as well as over onto Sunday. We start off, we have Wildcard facing against Order. We have Demon facing against Direwolves. We also say farewell to you tonight, actually, Joe. We'll have a different commentator coming on for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be away for a little bit. I think I come back for the next round of close quals actually on March 5th, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be taking a little bit of a break, but all the Valorant action is still going to be around.
Do you have any predictions to come in for tomorrow's games?
I think you're probably going to see map 3 for both games, if I'm going to be honest. That's what I'm feeling. Especially after tonight's performance. It's a big call, but I think it will happen. After like all 4 of these teams that have made it through, it's been convincing.
Yeah, definitely could be coming into play with that one. You are not wrong by any stretch of the mind there, Joe. So, guys, just to reiterate, a big thank you for chilling on with us tonight and for sitting through all of those little delays that we had been seeing tonight. But it does mean that we have gotten to the little tail end of tonight's stream. So before I wrap it up, any last words for us, Joe?
Come back tomorrow. You're going to have a lot more action on board, especially with Dion and also his partner in crime, potentially. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, a little bit of spoilers for you guys tomorrow then, I guess. Konkmoto is going to be coming for you with the big Valorant action. Me and Konki are going to be guiding you through the next 2 days, of course. Then we're going to have Easy TV, aka Dallas, as well, come on the Sunday for a little bit of that hosting action for the big old finals. But guys, thank you for sticking with us tonight. We are saying farewell. I'm going to go get some food because it's now midnight. We'll catch you tomorrow on the broadcast. Bye, guys.
I just time traveled. Today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya.
Oh, it's still in the garage.
Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.